What could be more evil than Nazis? Producer J.J. Abrams dares to imagine an answer in Overlord, a thrilling, pulse-pounding action-adventure with an unexpected twist. Set in Nazi-occupied France a mere hours before D-Day, Overlord follows a team of American paratroopers who come face-to-face with enemies unlike any the world has ever seen. You'll have to see it to believe it. Don't miss Paramount Pictures' Overlord. In theaters November 9th. Rated R for strong bloody violence, disturbing images, language, and brief sexual content.
Hey, it's Tuesday, October the 30th, 2018, the second spookiest day of the year?
I would go November 1st.
Okay.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, okay,
Oh.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, hello. Welcome to the giant Boomcast.
You didn't need to put the M there. Boocast.
Boocast?
Does
Does that work better?
Ghoul,
That's what I brought.
cast.
I have
It's not.
seriously
It's not even close.
really worked on this material for about
We've been sending scripts back and forth.
90
and-
seconds. Ben Pack is here.
Hi. Hey.
Matthew Rory is here.
Hi, how are you?
Jan Ochoa is here. I'm doing
Hello.
well. I'm doing well.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry, I caught you mid-sip.
No, that was my fault. I knew that was coming.
That's fair. Jeff and Jason both out this week, but in their stead,
Hang on, I'm
You're Jeff and Jason.
able to podcast with the strength of two men.
okay. Fair, that's fair.
Okay,
I've had
there you
like
go.
3 coffees today.
Okay.
I'm in that.
So
I'm
maybe
there.
like 3 men then. Yeah. GameSpot's Lucy James. Hello.
Hey,
How
thank you for
doing?
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. I believe this is the first time we have spoken since you relocated.
Yeah, it's.
To
We were
the
talking
States?
about this, and like, I'm just an inherently very awkward person, and when I see
We
people
know
that
the
I,
feeling.
oh yeah, when I see people I know, I'm just like,
Hey.
because I've been
Do the-
betrayed by doing the wave before,
Sure,
and
yeah.
people
Oh,
like
yeah.
you miss.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go,
We get big timed a lot ourselves, so we definitely know the feeling.
And it's weird because like we had only ever interacted on Twitter,
sure.
and so it was just that kind of first meeting of like, hey, I think I recognize your face from a small circular picture.
And I'll
Yeah.
confess that there's so many new people getting into GameSpot every like week. It's always kind of like, have we met before? I've had very awkward like
18 new hires every Monday.
I don't think we've met yet. What's your name? Yes, we have multiple times. Somebody told me.
Oh, I thought you were saying that to Lucy right now.
Oh, no, I feel really bad. I'm basically face blind at this point. But
Yeah, the safest and least committal strategy is
Hey.
just sort of the half smile and like
Yeah.
kind of furtive glance away as you
Yeah.
pass on the hallway.
You just tap greet once
Yes,
and then go
exactly.
away.
Yes, or maybe antagonize depending on your mood. For people that don't know, you were at GameSpot UK
Yes.
before you moved to, I guess, GameSpot US.
Yeah.
What we call it, GameSpot Prime.
GameSpot Alpha.
The
Yeah.
big G.
Yeah. How's the transition been?
It's been very, very easy.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the most difficult thing was the visa. Obviously, well, the most difficult thing being the visa stuff. But it was
Sure.
like that was the most stressful part.
Sure.
The actual act of packing everything up and getting on a plane and finding a new place to live. They don't make that easy, by the way. Like,
No.
I don't have
yeah.
any credit or like, I have a bank account, but when I got paid, they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to put a hold on this for 7
Nice.
days."
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
So it's just a consistent like set of rustles.
whenever you move, especially in the Bay Area, the security deposit situation, first and last month plus security deposit, you better have like 10 grand in the bank before you do anything.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's really bad. So.
Yeah. But other than that, it's
Yeah.
landed on my feet. House situation sorted. Work is fine. I mean, I've worked here for almost 5 years now, so I've come over like once a year.
Sure.
Know everyone. It's been quite nice.
Yeah.
It's been good. I'm
Now-
not going home and crying,
Yeah, okay.
so I assume
That's a
it's a
good
good
start.
thing.
That's a good
It's
start.
almost November, so I
Sure.
think we'll all be going home crying pretty soon. So.
Now poor Timur is all by himself.
Oh yeah. I
Actually,
know.
no, maybe
well,
not.
no,
How-
he has the other boys. And I'm actually going back for 3 weeks over Christmas, so work from the UK for a week and then
Okay.
home and then work from there again.
Where's the office in the UK?
So it's Old Street.
Okay.
So
I was in
London.
Earl's Court when I went.
You made that up.
recently.
That's not real.
King's Earl's Court near.
Earl's Court?
That's-
No, Earl's
okay,
Court.
okay.
That's off of Blimey Street.
I
And,
hung
Yeah.
out with Matt Pascal for like a 2 whole days. That was really fun.
an authentic Englishman.
Yeah.
Showing me around, and then we went to see a football game, an American football game.
Wait, what?
I'll tell the story later.
Do they have? How about? Why
The
wait?
Raiders were there in London.
Wait.
We had no
Oh
idea.
yeah, they do like one game a year.
The Raiders?
Wow.
The Raiders were there.
Wow.
So we get off the plane, and I'm sorry to interrupt your story by moving here, but I have to tell my story about going to London.
Tell the story about that.
It's all related.
Did you
in
dress
the
up
end.
in
I know
full
mine,
Raiders
but-
gear? You know, face
We
paint,
planned this
spikes.
trip like
Guar.
6 months ago. We had no idea the actual Oakland Raiders were there at Wembley Stadium. We get off the plane. Everybody's wearing Seahawks and Raiders gear and being very loud. And we were trying to get tickets to go, and it would have been like $200 a person, 200 pounds a person. And they wound up getting smashed like 27-3. We went to a Philly themed bar in London and watched it there. It was a much better idea. So
I
I
didn't
was
even
just
know we
curious.
had Philly themed
How is the
bars.
service
Yes.
compared to a typical English pub? Worse?
Well, we went to a Raiders meetup in an English pub, and it was very loud. And at some point, they took over the loudspeaker and played the national anthem of the United States.
Okay.
And everybody in the bar was like, oh.
Everyone got up and saluted and
Yes.
took off their hats.
I can tell you a lot about drinking in Europe because I did drink a lot in Europe. If you don't like gin, every bar has like a gin and tonic section. It was really weird. I'm not a big gin. I mean, love gin, but gin and tonics are not my thing. But it's very curious.
Gin is
I
very
don't like
much in
tonic
fashion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's becoming like a boutique thing, right?
Yeah.
There's all this artisan.
It's
gin
cool to
popping up.
like eating pine trees now.
It's juniper herbs. Thank you very much. And traditionally, it's a poor man's drink. At one point in London, there was the gin craze, which was like apparently something like 75% of all households had gin stills in their bathtub.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's like
People-
juniper with a hint
Yeah.
of bathtub.
You were falling down on the way to work in the morning because so many people are getting fucked up.
I know it
Because
sucks.
It was like a licensing thing, right? Where the Queen had liquor license, but then you could make gin by yourself without having to worry about it. Man,
Let's rate
London.
Matthew
Yeah, I know.
Rory's knowledge of.
all my vacation
British
stories
history.
are coming out. You didn't let me tell them on UPF, so they're all
That's
here
true.
now, bubbling up to the surface.
You were just a fount of stories at all
Well,
times.
Come wait for Extra Life. We have 24
Yes.
hours to fill, so
Yeah, can we? I guess we can talk about that now that it's less than 5 days away.
I feel like I'm babbling.
We're
But
going to be
yes.
streaming a bunch of Extra Life this week.
Starting tomorrow,
Yes.
6 full fucking days.
Wow.
Like no gaps at all
Yeah.
between Wednesday. I think it starts tomorrow at 9 with Dave Lang. He's already said he
yes.
started
Yeah.
this. And then it ends like Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Okay,
So if you're in the mood for
That's-
some Extra Life streaming,
a week from now.
friends and families
Yeah.
will be 24 hours of us in the studio.
Yeah,
Alex has already said he's doing 24 hours straight drumming.
yeah.
So we have a schedule. It's going to be going up later on, but I did want to mention that at the top of the show.
Yes.
If you want to join our team too, we'll have information on that. The Giant Bomb team always
We're
has
going for 250,000. Is our goal?
250K. We passed 1 million last year, and big thanks to Pascal, which is why I was remembering this now. Pascal is always the one who sets up the entire thing. He does
Yes.
all the planning and scheduling and everything like that. So big thanks to him. He'll be streaming too. But if you want to join the Giant Bomb team, we've already had a few people raise like $3,000. I think Dave Lang's already at $3,000. A lot of team members are doing really good stuff. So join, watch, donate, subscribe,
Yeah.
like.
It's for the
comment.
kids.
For the kids.
Yeah, for the kids.
Yeah.
So that's coming up starting tomorrow.
Yes.
Just come to giantbomb.com/chat for Extra Life all week long.
It'll be a good time.
It'll
be a long
100%
time.
100% entertaining every hour of the day.
Yeah, guaranteed, no filler. 100.
We've meticulously
No
planned
breaks.
every minute of every hour of
And
every
Q to
day.
Q sheet
And
for
Jason
every single person.
and Jeff will be back for
Yes.
this too.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we will have a full crew in it.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll have
looking
a
forward to it.
full crew in here.
Yeah.
I believe full crew in New York.
I can't.
Well,
speak
I
for it.
shouldn't speak out of turn.
Yeah, we have a lot of this whole schedule. I'll put up in a story later on today.
Yes.
But yeah, I always dig the long streams. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be a time.
We have a lot of stuff coming
Yeah.
up, and that's
All right.
Bye, Rory.
Housekeeping. All right. Thanks for being here.
See you later.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Very. That smooth. That transition was as smooth as doing anything in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yippee-ki-yay. I do declare.
We're talking about it.
We should talk about.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me.
I think that game's very good.
Talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
The latest from Rockstar.
Yes. How is it treating you?
You guys talk about it.
Oh man.
Oh.
Like, I don't even know where to start.
$765 million in 1 weekend.
Yes.
apparently.
Yeah.
So
Woo.
That's a lot.
I will say that I probably, starting about a week before it came out, I stopped doing story missions and didn't do another story mission until like 2 days after it came out. So like the world is so goddamn big and there's so much to do that I spent like over a week just living a cowboy life.
Let's start with this. How much time have you guys put into the game? Would you estimate?
I desperately wish it had an hour count.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just has that percent count, which is very
I feel like
Very strange.
It's not buried in a setting somewhere? Because I know
No.
GTA 5 had an hour count, I believe, somewhere way deep in the menus.
No, I think I saw some kind of pocket watch for sale. Maybe that
Do you
does
not have
something.
the app, the companion app might have it?
I do actually. That thing is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But,
I would say I played probably 10 to 12.
Okay.
So I'm still early on in chapter 2. I've done like a handful of those story missions and then a handful of side missions.
Yeah.
how far?
I'm like
You've also had it for quite
Yeah.
a bit, right?
I must be 40 to 50.
Wow. I would bet I'm pushing that
Yeah.
also, and I'm also still in chapter 2 somehow.
I'm chapter 5 now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did all of chapter 4 in one sitting yesterday.
Wow.
Because I have to. We're doing the spoiler talk, and I want to finish it so I can be a part of that.
Sure.
But it's weird that actually, when I was taking my time with it, and leaving story missions and going off and doing all the stranger stuff and the side stuff, it's not that I'm enjoying it less that I'm mainlining through the story, but I appreciated it more when I was taking it at a much slower pace. When you kind of just like blast through the story, you can see not the cracks, but you can kind of.
It becomes more of a video game.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a video game and less of the immersive cowboy
Yeah,
life
totally. Like
experience.
enough of the story missions, like when you do them end to end, enough of them are just sort of shootouts in different contexts. It's like
ride your horse for a while, have a
this one-
conversation.
ride something somewhere, have a conversation or two, have a shootout, maybe get chased.
What would you say your gameplay? I mean, you're probably rushing through, or not rushing, but going pretty quick. How would you say your gameplay sessions are like?
It's crazy because the world is.
I mean,
so,
time wise, like how much time do you spend playing at a time?
I played probably like. I mean, with like 20-minute breaks here and there, probably like 12 hours a day,
God damn.
Saturday and Sunday. Like, and I don't play games like that at all. Like, I have the shortest attention span. Usually, I play a game for an hour or two and then I get sick of it, but I just could not stop.
Yeah, I haven't played it at all. I've been waiting. I think we're going to talk about the PC version a little bit later on.
Awesome.
But I've been doing that a lot with Odyssey and Destiny 2 lately, just half an hour at a time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd do the same thing with RDR2 because.
Like the world it's not just how big it is, but it's so like systematized. There are so many different things crisscrossing each other and so many different things.
It's so easy to get distracted and just kind of, I should go hunt that elk. I should go, talk to this guy. And then you just lose yourself in the world really easily because then you like accidentally run over some dude's dog and now suddenly there's a bounty on your head.
What the fuck?
Dude.
I paid off almost $400 in bounties this morning.
I have a pretty hefty one. So the first thing I did was ride. One of the first things I did is ride south to that more industrialized town. I can't remember the name of it. It's like by the swamps, kind of.
Roads?
Saint Denis.
Or is it Saint Denis?
I don't know.
I've
It's
been
like
to
directly
one of
kind of
those.
south of your camp.
Directly say, is it Rhodes?
Of Horseshoe Overlook?
Maybe not directly. It's to the south of Horseshoe Overlook. It's got a fence. It was like the first place I found a fence and a trapper. And
The trap is Saint Denis. So it's southeast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the first thing I did was one of the first things I did was ride there, and I was like, "Oh, these people are pretty well off. I'm just gonna start robbing some shit." Ended up with a $400 bounty pretty early on in the game. I had like $1.80 in my pocket.
How do you get around bounties? Do you,
You
you
just
pay
go
them
to
off.
a
You pay them.
post office
you
and pay
can't
them
like go find the person and kill them, or
Well, if
I have read that
are there bounty hunters?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is all like really.
And the higher the bounty, the more they will aggressively come looking for you.
but there's also witnesses to your crime. So what you can do is kind of cut it off at the head and
so weird because all this stuff is in Odyssey as well. Like you have bounty hunters, you can steal stuff if they see you, they'll do it. This all go back to like Skyrim, but my own story about a bounty hunter last night and a dog. Super sad. I killed my bounty hunter who was after me, and he had a little dog companion who had gotten a little lost. The dead body of the bounty hunter is sitting there, and the dog just comes up and lays down next to him.
Oh.
And
you're a monster.
I know. And I ran away. I let the dog live. So
At what cost?
I let dogs live in video games, man.
I have read that for smaller bounties, you can actually just show up to jail and go to jail.
Oh.
Well, somebody said like in Valentine, if you have like a $10 bounty, you can just turn yourself in and
Yeah,
like,
I
So-
actually did
spend
that.
a night in jail.
I
and
got
then you're good.
arrested because I didn't have a bounty or anything, but I was wearing a mask just because I put a mask on and I noticed that all the NPCs would go, "What you hiding your face for?"
So it's basically like a wanted level kind of thing in GTA.
Yeah,
I assume?
basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was wearing this mask, and this sheriff came up to me and started yelling at me to take my mask off, and I just didn't, and I just stood there, and he arrested me
Wait,
for
just for being shifty?
yeah, just for looking
that
shifty,
is-
and I
Well-
went to jail overnight, and then I think I had to pay about $10.
I can't remember if any of the other games had, like, a lot of games will have that thing where if you raise your weapon and you raise or lower your
Oh,
weapon,
yeah.
they'll react
Yeah.
differently too.
So I mean, like you haven't played it yet,
No.
but I think the biggest difference or the biggest kind of evolution in this game over their previous games is how many different ways you can sort of interact and threaten.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've heard that's really confusing.
It's
like,
not
Yes.
just enact violence on somebody. It's like threaten violence.
well, there's also like a one button
Yeah.
shoot.
So
Yeah,
basically,
you can hit like up on the D-pad to hold your gun up into the air to kind of fire off a
it's
warning
like
shot.
basically every interaction in the game starts with like targeting them as if you were shooting, but if you don't have your gun out, it doesn't actually target them. It just puts you into a kind of conversational state. And then you can like greet, you can antagonize, you can threaten, you can rob. Like you get a bunch of options just by targeting somebody.
One of the things I've heard
And-
people complaining about is like hitting the wrong button will shoot
Yes.
them in the face. Rather
Yeah.
than like, hey mom, how you doing?
It is possible to run afoul of that system, but you can even do things like if you point a gun at somebody, they'll interpret it one way. You can point it in the air and they will take it a different way. There's it's a lot of flexibility around that stuff.
One of the things, the complaints that I've heard a million people say it's an amazing game, but the controls are
That is like
a
I
little-
feel like that has to be the beginning of the conversation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like even like I this game is like easy top 10 of all time material for me at this
Oh,
point. But even I
wow.
spent like the first 5 hours going like I don't know if I like this.
So
yeah,
like, it is
there's some tips out there that kind of make playing it a lot easier that I've kind of seen popping up here and there. Reducing the dead zone
yeah. I
to
turned that all the way
zero
down. Yes.
is really good.
Yes.
Increasing acceleration on your.
Yes.
I also there's in the accessibility options you can switch it from mash X to run to
Oh,
just
to
press.
hold.
Just tap.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are the two absolute biggest.
Yeah.
Totally make things like a lot easier.
Makes
But
it feel more like a real video game.
even on top of that, it's just there's some really rough parts to the game that will turn a lot of people off. Like and it almost turned me. Honestly, it wasn't until yesterday that I was fully convinced that I even liked the game.
Yeah, it definitely took me a couple days.
I feel like my biggest complaint and the only thing I kind of find excusable is the lack of cohesion for what button presses do what things. Like picking up a hat, a gun, and an
Yes.
item are all different buttons.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes. So I was doing a story mission. It's pretty early on. A guy's wagon breaks down and a horse runs off, and you're supposed to go get his horse and bring it back to him. And it was stuck on targeting the player. I was trying to target the horse next to him, the NPC, not the player.
Is this a focusing, like where you're focusing on?
Yeah,
it?
you hold L2 to kind of focus it on somebody. So I was focused on this player, and I couldn't get on the horse. And so I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna not hold L2. I'm gonna take out my lasso, and I'm just gonna hit R2, which is kind of throw weapon. And I
can
did
guess
that,
how this ends.
And he just my dude just tackles the NPC and just gets him on the ground above him, just ready to kill him. Everyone's screaming at me like, "What are you doing?" I don't know what I'm doing.
I did that when I was trying to beat up a guy because I'm genuinely trying to play as an honorable outlaw, and I just tried to beat up a guy to get some information out of him, but I accidentally tapped L1 and got my gun out, and instead of you kind of pistol whip him across the head, and then he shot his head off.
Right under, like run under the chin. Yep, I've
like,
seen that one.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
Arthur Morgan's got a hair trigger.
Are
Sometimes
there,
he goes a little too
like
far.
constant autosaves? Can you go back a little bit? if you-
Yeah, there's only one
manual-
autosave slot, so
But there are other
I would
manual
But there
say
are loads of regular manuals.
Okay,
you
like
can
Yeah.
make manual saves, but 9 times out of 10, when I've done something I didn't want to do and I went, it had just autosave, so you
Yeah.
kind of have to roll with it, unfortunately. But
I mean, the
yeah,
last-
there's a lot of stuff like that. Like the track animal button is the same as the get off horse button. So I've been chasing a rare animal trying to track it, and like it just barely swerves out of view, and then I just jump off my horse instead, and it gets away. Like a lot of stuff like that. But
And then so there's we talk about there's so many things to do in the game, and you get a tutorial for every one, but you just kind of do it once, and then the game there is like a help section in the options that kind of will go over everything that you've learned, but sometimes I just it teaches you, especially early on in those first 5 hours, like you were saying, it teaches you so many things that you forget a third of them. Like I couldn't remember how to, so I caught an animal and I put it on the back of my horse and I rode back to camp, and I got there and I was expecting kind of something to trigger automatically. Nothing. I walked over to the cook.
that whole thing.
He wasn't giving me any.
Oh my
like,
god, fucking
prompts.
Pearson! That whole thing is so complicated.
Yeah, and so I just gave up on it. I'm like, fucking my camp. I'll just put a little more money in and hope they could buy their own provision.
Like if you drop an animal or something like that in camp, have you done this? It'll warp you to the fire.
No.
Like if you drop a animal carcass in camp, it'll cut to black, and then you'll spawn next to the campfire with the carcass, and it says like
it's like if you camped yourself.
yeah, and it says like if you put items down in camp, it'll be moved to a safe location.
Okay.
Blah 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 blah. And I had like a super rare hide I had been hunting for some crafting, and I left it there and saved it. Came back and reloaded later, just gone. It's like you said it was a safe location. Like it's so unclear about so many of those things.
Yeah, and giving hides to Pearson so he can
Yes.
craft things
Yes.
because it's not clear that if you have stuff that you can just give it to him and
Right.
he'll hold on to it and then use it later to craft something for you. It just looks like you give it to him and he gives you 50 cents.
Right,
for
like
it.
you can walk it up to him physically and
Yeah.
go to the crafting interface, and it'll still act like you don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to donate it, and then you
Wow.
can craft it. And it
Donate
doesn't
it.
explain any of that
Sounds
stuff.
non-intuitive.
It is
There are
Messy.
large portions of the game that are non-intuitive,
Yeah.
but sometimes it kind of works out into the like flavor.
like
of
that's
the world.
totally where I've gotten to, which sounds like
Yeah.
some weird kind of Stockholm syndrome to
Yeah.
have with this game that is just abusive. But yeah, like at this point, I'm like, if you could just like sprint everywhere and turn on a dime, it would feel wrong somehow because like they've made that choice that they are going for like realistic immersion above everything.
I got so happy when I unlocked the horse bonding level where you could like do the skid stops.
Oh yeah.
You like
Yeah.
pull back an X and you'll like, because I was just chasing something and then they'd get off and I'd forget what button is slow down horse because it's it's R1.
R1.
So yeah, like I would just forget and start hitting a bunch of buttons, shoot my gun off into the air a couple times, eventually slow down my horse. But now I can bring it to a halt and hop off, and it's a lot easier for like catching bounties. If you're lassoing a guy. God, I love lassoing people.
It
in this
feels
game.
so good,
Yeah.
especially when a guy's like about to shoot you and you yank him just as he pulls the trigger and he shoots into the air. Yeah. I don't think I've ever played an open world game that makes you feel like you're embodying a character and a life.
And I think
much as this game?
yeah, and in terms of playing an open world game where things that you do actually have consequence is so refreshing, especially coming off. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but by the time I was 20, 30 hours deep, I was like, I'm just checking off
Yeah.
here.
yeah.
I'm not doing
I'm already
it.
kind of there.
I'm gonna romance this character and
It's-
I'm gonna sleep with her
yeah.
and she's gonna go on my boat
Yep.
and then I can never interact with her again.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
really weird.
And like some bar is going to increase a little bit, or
Yeah.
like some numbers will ring up. And
It's literally you hit the heart icon, and there's no way to really get it wrong. You just have to kind of keep on doing it. Put the coins in the machine, and then hey, you're on my boat now. And you literally, I think I have the same Odessa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, I like playing as Cassandra because she's like the sassy. I really like her character and her writing, but a lot of the, I don't know. We'll talk about Odyssey in a bit when you're done with RDR2, but yeah,
I read Kirk Hamilton at Kotaku put up a piece comparing Odyssey and Red Dead, and he said, I thought this was a really good comparison. He said that Red Dead 2 feels like Far Cry 2 was the game that defined like a decade of open world standards, and not Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Because Far Cry 3 was the game that took all that like weird, obscure, emergent nonsense and like slapped icons and XP meters and like tooltips all over everything. And this game is the absolute antithesis of all of that.
it's weird games.
Far Cry 2 was the game where you would accidentally start a fire and burn down your
Yes.
whole
Oh man,
everything.
The fire effects in Far Cry 2. I love that flare gun so much. You fire it around people and they can't get out of the flames, and they just really.
But also, like Far Cry 2 also didn't communicate shit.
Yeah.
Like you had
Yeah.
malaria and you had to take drugs, but they didn't
yeah.
really say exactly when or why.
It's like Dying Light. It had the same thing where it only became an issue when Dying Light had the worst problem with any kind of disease in a game, where the only time it ever affected you was during cutscenes when it was the least convenient thing to do. But yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get stinky?
Yes.
I remember the first time last night. It was and people were just like, "What? Yeah," just like, "You smell like goat shit."
Yep.
And I'm like, "I probably do. That's fair. Like, I haven't considered taking a bath in a week."
I find myself like, this sounds like the nerdiest thing ever. Like I am role playing in this game.
Yeah,
Like,
I am.
Yeah,
like, but not like role playing in the RPG sense, but I'm RPing. Like,
yes.
So
I'm making my own role for myself. Like,
Yeah,
like
like-
I find myself worrying about my fatigue and my hunger, not in a way that's like mechanically driven, but it's just like, oh, like I'm doing what the character would do right now.
I'm super meticulous with making sure my beard is trimmed and my hair has pomade in. But talking about role playing, there's a mission really early on where you go into town and you ride a wagon with some of the girls and uncle.
Yeah.
And then they kind of drop you off into town. Everyone looks for things like people to rob and whatever. And then something else happens and I got distracted. And I was so invested in being a good guy that I refused to steal a horse to go back to camp because you can't fast travel at that point. So I walked back because
Yeah,
I was
I
so
did the same.
in the role play
Yeah.
like that I just didn't
I
want to
took the horse
break
and then I
that.
brought it back because you
That's
can do that.
part of it, but just to get back to camp, just to get my next story mission or
Yeah.
whatever.
But
But then
I-
I did find the serial killer that way, so I was like, not exactly wasted.
Oh, I just found the first step of that, and it was like kind of distressing.
It's gross, and I love it.
finding that
Yeah.
stuff.
Another minor issue I have kind of relates to this role play thing here. So whenever you do an action that has morality choices, you have this little bar at the bottom, and on one end it's very red, and one end it's very white, and kind of the good actions will move you to the white, bad actions will move you to the red. And so I went into this game thinking I was going to play a kind of evil renegade path because I don't typically do that, and I felt like if this is this is probably a good game to see what both ends of the spectrum look like. I feel like a lot of people are going to play really heroic and positive roles. I'm just going to go full evil. I'm going to rob everyone. And it was just going down that red path. And I was robbing people left and right. And I don't know if this is something that maybe is a little easier late game, but I found so many, almost all of the side activities of just like, hey, you found a person on the side of the road. You find somebody being robbed, you find this, you find that. Like there's all these little interactions that just happen while you're out traveling on the roads. All of them, if you help the person, resulted in positive morality. And you could rob them, I guess, and you get a little bit of money and an item or something. But that's it, and it's just so much less
I
interesting.
mean, how committed to being a dick are you?
That's the thing, though. It's
you gotta
getting
take
in the-
advantage of their moment of weakness if you really want to.
So I was fine robbing them. It wasn't a meme being morally like, oh no, I feel bad for
Yeah,
robbing.
you're
this.
just saying there's not a lot of other
It's
bad
just not
solutions.
interesting. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's just the same as if I rode into town and tried to shoot everyone and rob everyone or what have you. There's no like, snidely whiplash looking dude by the railroad tracks being like, hey, come here, I want you to go find somebody and tie them. I don't know if there is though, because who fucking knows?
It sounds kind of like a Infamous kind of thing where you can either blow everybody up or try not to. Is that kind of the same system?
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of.
just like not there's not enough in-game rewarding experiences to play on that renegade path.
Like your
I
only
found.
option is mass murder.
mass
basically.
murder or
Yeah.
robbing people are kind of the only things that
You
move
want
I
to
kind of feel like it would be better without that bar, because that's the one thing in the
yeah.
if you're super immersing yourself into it, it's the one thing that keeps pinging.
Yeah,
and
not that you
saying,
mentioned it. Yeah, that is kind of out of step.
Ping,
with,
you've gained honor. Ping, you've lost it. And sometimes it feels really weird that if a guy shoots me and I end up killing him, I'll lose honor, even though I accidentally got caught in a crossfire or something, and I'll lose honor. And I can't loot him either, because then I'll lose honor.
Yeah.
And also, donating to camp means you immediately get a ton of it, but you kind of have to donate to camp in order to get, because in the early game you have nothing. So donating to camp, especially getting that first upgrade where you encourage others to donate, means that you can get more for yourself. So it's this weird loop that I don't think is the best. I'd prefer if it wasn't there.
all that camp stuff is so obscure. Like every time I show up, they're out of food and ammo and medicine and everything, and I don't know why, because I keep giving it to them and they keep burning through it. But
So I did one really big job, and I just paid for all the upgrades, and now they're fine.
okay,
But in doing that, I didn't donate anything for about 5 hours, and one of the characters came up to me and went, "Oh, you're back, are you? Haven't bothered to donate anything now because there's
Nice
a
of you to show up."
ledger."
Yeah.
And you get called out for it.
What
I'm
do these
sorry?
people do when you're not around? Are they not doing anything for themselves? You have to basically support the
I
entire
mean,
thing?
they do donate. Like there's a communal kind of
Yeah.
camp like lockbox that you throw money into, and there's a ledger, and you can see that they have donated, but you probably will get fed up early on of seeing your name across multiple pages of the ledger, and then they'll throw 50 cents in here and there. while
Gold
you're,
pocket watch.
right, while
$10.
You're donating hundreds of dollars to this
And
camp.
then they'll donate a carrot.
They are not pulling their weight. But I'm amazed how much time I just spend wandering around in the camp, like talking to people and listening to them talk to each other. Like those interactions are so well
I will
fleshed out
say
and realized.
this is definitely the best writing from a Rockstar game,
Yes.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like even just normal missions. There's one really early on where you it's like go into town and get drunk with your friend.
Yes,
that-
And
the
it's
Lenny,
so
the Lenny
good.
mission.
It's just you just drink and like you kind of flash through the night and then you get drunk and have to find Lenny and then like later on you're so drunk that everyone looks like Lenny.
That experience of being super wasted in the saloon is like so true to like they even use the button prompts in some really creative
Yeah.
ways.
And then they're like you're about to fight a guy and it cuts to all of you doing the can in a line. Like it's just
The mission is fantastic.
it was one of those really early, just really flavorful.
Yeah.
There's no gunplay in my
No.
there's no fighting.
gunplay. There's no fighting.
in that
You
mission,
just
yeah.
like drink and walk around the bar and talk to people.
Good, because
So-
some of the no gunplay missions in GTA 5 are tedious as shit. Like
No, there's nothing like that so far.
you don't ever have to like do the tow truck thing with a girl who's yelling at you the entire time.
I mean,
Oh, I forgot about
you
that.
know, you mostly like you'll hunt down. You can take bounties at the sheriff's office and
for people.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
you'll like lasso them and throw them on the back of your horse, and they'll like talk to you. But then if they're talking too much, you can like hit them.
Smack him in the face. Like, shut up.
There are missions when you do there are like the yellow main missions, and then you have white missions with people who are
The
in your
stranger
camp.
missions, yeah.
Not just those ones with
you're
people in
talking
your
about
camp.
Okay.
So-
those are like companion activities,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
But if you progress through the story too much, they get wiped. So it's kind of you have
Yeah.
to delve in and do them. But
okay.
they're really good. Like you can go fishing with. I think I went fishing with Javier, and it's just these nice little character
Yeah.
vignettes where and obviously you know Javier from the first game where he's an antagonist, and so hanging out with him and getting to understand him, I don't know, they're just really nice and they're totally missable as well.
Oh man, I don't think I remember jack shit about RDR1.
This game.
I had to watch a little.
Yeah,
primer.
I actually watched the video you guys did of the
Hey.
here's what happened, and that was super helpful because I
Good.
forgot Javier was even in that game.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
I only
Javier.
remembered Bill
Yeah.
and Dutch, obviously.
I remember the end of RDR1, which is one of the most amazing like time shifts in gaming
Cool.
history
Oh yeah,
to me.
the
But
end of that game is
Yeah.
sublime.
It was funny to me.
Absolutely.
I kind of had a revelation that remember in the first part of the last act of Red Dead 1 where you start doing all the chores on the farm. They made a whole game around that.
Yes. Yeah, like I chop firewood like almost every morning that I wake up in the camp. It's weird. I mean, it takes
Oh, I didn't even know
I've
you could
never
do
done
that.
that.
I've never done that.
you can carry like hay for the horses and like carry feed bags and like all dude like they're little black dots on the mini map.
Oh,
And you earn like XP, you get like Deadeye
Sure.
meter out of it or something. So there is a reward, but also you're just doing these menial tasks and like
It's
people
such a
compliment
credit
you
to the
on
game,
yeah.
to the world that they've built that
Like-
I would even consider doing
Yeah,
this shit.
Yeah.
like half the reason I do it is just because it makes the people in camp like you more, and like they do such a good job of fleshing those characters out that you want them to like you.
I love Arthur and John's relationship.
Yes.
Oh,
it's so
it's so
good.
It's like this weird sibling rivalry
I
kind
w-
of thing.
I was a little worried that they might like kind of overplay John because it's just like, oh, we all know what happens to John. Are they gonna make a big deal of it? No, he's just like an asshole.
Yeah.
Another asshole at
Yeah.
camp.
Wait,
He is
this
kind of an asshole.
This is a prequel to
Yes.
the events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
there's a great moment that Rob Handlery caught, and he posted it on Twitter. It's an incredible video of just a background conversation of Abigail and John, and she, slaps him because he's being a dick, and then John storms away, and another character walks past, and he just goes, "What, Karen?" And it's completely missile. It's so good. It's just this great little character moment, and
Wow.
it's great that John is not immediately likable because
Yeah.
No.
you have to have
You need some kind of
him
arc for
being
him.
alright.
Yeah,
This
totally.
game seems like it has high GIF potential.
Absolutely.
going
God.
on.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the one that was going around the last couple of days where John's like, or what's his name, is getting something at the camp, and then the horse walks right in front of the camera and starts shitting. It's supposed to be like, I guess he's getting something, and yep, there are balls and shit.
The horse poops are
Yeah.
It's
plentiful.
plentiful.
not
Yeah.
quite
Prodigious.
MGS5 level of
Yeah.
entertaining, but
Oh God, I was in a bar. I was in a saloon, and there was one of the first side quests you can get is like dealing with a guy who's writing a biography of a famous
Dude, I
gunslinger.
fucking love that quest so
That
much.
quest is
like
really
that
good.
that drunk ass old gunslinger.
like Unforgiven style.
Um,
Duck or Death?
Oh, maybe so. Like I mean,
Kinda.
It's all good, yeah.
Everything they do is inspired by some film or other. But yeah,
So that quest giver was in there. The gunslinger was in there. Two people that had beef with me, I guess, for something. I don't know what it could have been. Walked in, and then the bartender starts talking to me. And so everyone's kind of talking over each other. It's like this weird thing of like too many systems are kind of coming into close proximity that shouldn't. And so there's just like three different people kind of rotating around and talking. And I'm like, it's chaotic in here. I'm just going to punch someone and see what happens. And it just turned into this huge bar fight. And it was great. And everyone just came running to this bar. It was the smaller bar in town because there were two bars. But for that night, I made it the popular bar.
it's definitely the movie fist fight thing of like two people start hitting each other and all of a sudden everybody else starts hitting each other
Yeah.
too. Like why not? I don't know if this is irrational, but I was worried about the character of Arthur going into this based on some of the
Yeah.
footage they had put out because like he's never mentioned in the first game, so you have to assume going in that he was a bit player or he had nothing to do with the goings on of the
It's
game.
like the Better Call Saul thing. Like some of these characters not
Yeah.
in Breaking Bad. So
Right.
are they gonna die?
No,
Or are they just gonna
I don't
disappear?
mean obviously he's going to die. I don't
Okay.
know, but what I mean is I just didn't think he would be a meaningful character.
He
'cause
wasn't
was
like
never
somebody John Marston talked
right
about all
right.
the time.
Like if he was so unimportant that his name never came up in the first game, how meaningful could he be? But I actually think he might be like my favorite protagonist they've ever
He's
ever
up
had.
there.
Like he's got personality.
Yeah.
Like he's got this like fatalistic view on the outlaw life. You know, like Marston feels like a dope compared to him. Basically, like he's like a tough guy, but he's also like
Yeah.
really melancholy about the sort
Yeah.
of like passing of this way of life.
Everyone calls Arthur stupid all the time.
Yeah.
I'm at the point in the story where everyone just refers to him as like a dumbass.
Sure,
I'm like,
he's-
he's fine.
He's very self-deprecating too,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Whenever
a lot.
you help someone, they always go, "You're such a good man. You're such a good man." He goes, "No, I'm not.
yeah,
I'm a horrible person."
like I booked a room in the inn in town one time, and you can talk to the mirror. Like you walk up to the mirror, and
Oh, I
there's a
love
prompt to
that.
talk to the mirror, and like the prompt, I did it, and the prompt, he basically was just like, no wonder nobody wants you, like
Yes.
looking into the mirror, like
This
he's
is
that
why
kind
they
of
leave
guy.
you.
Yeah,
That sounds a little self-indulgent from a writing standpoint. Just like,
it works.
I
well.
have to monologue.
It works well because he is also like the hyper competent fixer of the gang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he can turn like sociopath threatening on a dime when necessary. Like he can really get shit done. So like having that like kind of soft uncertainty in the background is a really good contrast.
I also. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say that the other place that really shines through is when he talks to Jack.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I accidentally yesterday I walked into Jack a couple times. I didn't mean to, and he's just super apologetic to him. But he treats him. He's, "Hey, buddy, you okay? I'm sorry, pal. How you doing?" And it's just this. It humanizes him
Yeah.
even more that he has that relationship with the young kid, and they kind of all do because they all look out for Jack. But it's just because Jack in Red Dead 1 is annoying as hell.
Yeah.
You kind of have a deeper appreciation of him and his little
Sure.
growing up and stuff. He just wants to read comic books.
Yeah,
It's
like
so sweet.
Arthur is just like he's a cold-blooded killer, but he's like kind of soft at heart, if that makes sense. Like he's got this kind of like caretaker, fatherly quality.
Leon, the professional kind of stuff.
Sorta, yeah. Sure.
A little.
And I really like what they're doing with Dutch too. Like he was, I mean, he's the antagonist of Red Dead 1, and you kind of get to know him a little bit, but he's more of this like mythical figure. Like Dutch's gang was
Yeah.
such this big deal, and you're on the road to get Dutch, and it's funny because like they play it well at the end of Red Dead 1. I feel like his climax is really good, kind of the end of his character's arc.
bald guy with the glasses.
No.
He's the long black hair.
In the first game, it's pretty short,
or
It's been a long
cropped.
time.
He's got big
Dark
black
He has
black mustache.
silver-
I will
Yeah.
watch this video.
He's the leader of the
I'll
gang.
link
That,
you.
I did see it.
yeah, he's kind of the climactic encounter at the end of the first game.
But this kind of gives you such a better perspective of not only like, who this guy was, but how he was able to run this gang. Like he's, I mean, I don't want to get into specifics about the story, but it's kind of just as much about Dutch's handle on things
Yeah.
than as like Arthur's actions. Like, the two are so intertwined. He's really like interesting. He's not even the antagonist of this game, but he's definitely kind of this force that
Yeah.
is dragging you along, and you don't necessarily want to be caught up in his vortex.
Like I'm hesitant to ask how things go later on because you're a lot deeper than we are. But like even early on, like he fronts like he's the man with the plan, like he's the leader. Like he
Well, I
has
think
got the gang's back, but like kind of under the surface, you see this insecurity, and he's like
you see the
kind of
cracks
he's kind of
beginning to
he's starting to
show.
unravel a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the
as-
whole game starts with
like-
a botched job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have fucked up bad at the
Yeah.
beginning of the game.
and then you want to get off that mountain, but he has other plans. He's like, oh, we got to do this other thing first. We got to wait. And then that kind of is the first time that it's like, can we trust this guy?
Like-
What's
Yeah,
going
there's a
on
lot
here?
of conversation between yourself and the gang members where, oh, Dutch said, oh, Dutch said.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to hear right now. The cracks begin to show, and it's just really great how that plays out very, very slowly as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like he tries to pass himself off as this benevolent, like Robin Hood-esque man of the people, freedom fighter type, but he's just like there's this weird sinister quality. Like I was walking by in the camp one time, and just out of nowhere, he was just sitting there. Out of nowhere, he was just like, Arthur, you're going to betray me in the end. You're that kind of guy. And then
That's foreshadowing right there.
And then said nothing else, and Arthur was just like, okay, and he just walked off. Like it's just like there's
Morning.
like a darkness there.
He was just drunk.
Yeah. The role playing thing, like the thing that the time it got me the most was there's a mission pretty early on. It's not really a big spoiler, but you kind of get your heart broken.
Oh,
Like you-
God, yeah.
classic. You just get left standing on a train platform.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen it yet. But,
I think I just started this mission.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I mean, it's not. It's very
yeah.
very minor. But
And it
like,
also says
Yeah.
part 2 when I started it,
Yeah.
so I assume that there might be more down the line.
But I came out of it just feeling so bad for the character that I went and got a haircut, and then I had a slug of whiskey, and then I went and bought a hot bath.
Hell yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna pamper this guy for a little
Treat
bit because
myself.
he's really taking some shit.
No, spa day. Everybody
Um,
needs it once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm
but like,
surprised by how customizable everything is with
Yeah.
the hair, the beard, the facial hair, the
Yeah.
mustache, the clothes. Like just
guns.
all the different shops have
Yeah.
different clothes.
Yep.
Your tattoos?
yeah, you can get like etchings on
No
your knife
tattoos.
and your guns,
Yeah.
and change
Yeah.
the inlay on the stocks. And,
While I was in that fancier city, I was like, oh, I've robbed all these people. I'm gonna just pop in here to the clothing shop real quick while I lay low. And
Game been in
Got
development
some-
for like 8 years or
Some-
something,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
something like that.
probably just a lot of like art management.
Oh, yeah.
where,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
you got to have something to do while we write this game. So just keep on doing shit. We'll figure it out later.
The number I've seen going around is like 2,000 people worked on the game.
That
something.
seems extreme.
I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I mean, it's got to be the most expensive game ever made. I mean, it certainly looks like it.
Is there any online stuff at all?
The online
No.
mode's coming in like a month.
Okay.
The trophies are, you can see the
Yeah,
trophies for
there's
online.
a lot of.
So it looks like there's going to be
So you
crafting
can't
and-
platinum it right
no,
now?
not
Okay.
until the online mode launches. But
But
What
I
is that
feel
gonna-
like
Does anybody know what that's going to entail at all?
it's probably going to be similar to GTA Online, I guess.
Mm.
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in there in the trophies about like joining an online posse.
crafting and,
and
I think
stuff
like
like
a
that.
hideout maybe.
Yeah.
Like that
Let's
sounds
get
fun.
somebody on Giant Bomb forums. Need to start making the official Giant Bomb parties
I
because
suppose
I'll
so.
join up when it comes to PC.
Yeah, I'm sure. we'll get
When
there eventually.
it comes to PC.
Uh-huh. Just keep saying it.
I know. We'll
What's
talk
your-
about that later, I think, though, right?
what's your guys' favorite just side activity?
Oh man. Well, what do you mean by
Or,
it?
like,
what tier
game
of
or-
activity do you mean?
Just,
Because
like-
there's the
I mean, like an action, like something you do for 2 minutes.
just to pass the
Just
time.
like a dominoes. There's the knife hand.
I am like
game.
this is embarrassing, but I'm kind of learning to play poker from this game.
Okay.
Because you kind of have to.
Is
Like
it
they.
Texas Hold'em or is it stud or
I
what?
don't
They
know.
have a couple different. Each saloon has.
Oh, are there different versions of
rules.
poker?
Man, that was one of the weirdest things about, not to go back way into the back past, but Josh Sawyer on Fallout New Vegas, we had to have some casino games in it because it's set in New Vegas.
Sure.
And he really wanted, I believe he did, put in a save scumming, anti-save scumming thing where if you saved and reloaded after you failed a game, it would automatically like knock your chances down. I want to say this is a very old story.
That's
I have to
amazing.
double check with him, but gambling in any game, I think there was one game you could play roulette, and I would just all on red, over and over again.
Yeah.
I forget which game it was, but any gambling in any kind of game where money is an issue is always, it's one of those things you kind of go to and just like, house, put it always bet on black, and then just reload your game if you ever fail.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you tried that at all? Is it something that's
No, I
doable?
haven't tried to save scum too
No.
much.
Okay.
Because I just usually start a fight if I lose.
Yeah. Or like
Take all their money anyway.
like it's kind of wrapped up in like becoming this character to me that you sort of live with the consequences of your actions and just roll with it even when it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to min max everything at all times. I need to never
You're
lose.
going to-
I
you are
never
You are going
lose.
to lose your mind in this game. Like seriously, this is not the game for people who want to totally dominate a game.
No.
They're like RPG systems for your character, like getting. I assume you always get better at shooting.
Yeah,
and-
you're leveling everything up.
okay.
but-
Do you actually get character levels?
No.
No.
like
It's the same as GTA 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
leveling
Okay,
like
okay,
health,
I see.
health,
stamina, dead eye.
Swimming, riding
Yeah,
horse
you
riding.
like
can swim.
swimming.
Riding.
Swimming increases your stamina. Yeah, like
Yeah.
doing stuff basically increases.
Do you have
your
any
skills.
like? I guess Deadeye is like because every character in GTA 5 has that special ability. Deadeye is kind of
Deadeye.
the thing about
Yeah,
that.
it's
You've
just
got
a sort of
Deadeye.
instant kill,
Cool.
smart bomb kind of thing.
Neat.
I honestly, to answer your question, like everything I'm doing off to the
Yeah.
side that's not the story. Like I like the story a lot, but like when the game clicked for me is when I spent about a week of days in game without going back to camp. Like literally just like living off the land, hunting, like making camp every night, like cooking,
You said there were
finding stuff out there to do. Like there's just
side quests that do disappear. Are there like time stuff? Like because I've been playing Odyssey, a lot of it's like time.
It's
to time.
mostly
The
think
character
level
stuff.
progression, right? Or like quest progression that
Yeah.
cancels that stuff out.
Yeah.
Not just like waiting.
So a good rule of thumb is that if it's a Dutch mission,
Mhm.
that's the thing that's going to progress the main
Okay.
story. But there are some yellow missions for your other gang members that
Cool.
don't necessarily push it forward.
There's just so much to do in that
There's-
game.
yeah.
It's just
It's
crazy.
gonna keep you busy.
Like I put on a cold weather outfit and just spent like 3 days up in the Grizzlies just finding stuff.
I haven't even been up there.
Oh my god, there's some I don't want to say what, but there are some real weird things to find in the woods up there.
I am looking forward to. I mean, I obviously with GTA 5 they had that whole UFO thing and finding little Easter eggs. I'm sure that,
Oh, yeah.
that whole
There's
there's a whole subreddit based on finding secret shit in Rockstar games, which I'm sure they'll. Where's the Yeti? Here comes the Yeti.
Yeah.
Over under a Westworld reference somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guarantee you already said the writing a biography. That's straight out of Unforgiven. I'm sure there's going to be a million. I want Deadwood references because we've been watching that
yeah.
recently. Just
I feel like Dutch is just a reference in himself. The way he carries himself would
Yeah.
fit right in on Deadwood.
yeah, it's a great show. Highly recommended.
It's a good game.
Highly
was
recommended.
curious-
That's my professional
That's a
analysis.
great game.
I was curious on your kind of so how much of the kind of cowboy mythos you were familiar with, or how much of this
Ah.
seems just because I don't know, because we learn about the Wild West in school pretty early on.
It's more media, I think, for us. Like we all grow up with
Oh, yeah.
John Wayne.
Yeah,
and-
but you have those we're gonna pretend you're on the wagon in 3rd grade and you're gonna sell like hardtack to your other class.
Yeah, we're
Jan's shaking his head at me.
No,
You never sold fake hardtack to your friends
No.
in 3rd grade?
Never.
I mean, I must have gone to a pretty cool school.
You're right.
Oh, you guys probably get a bunch of the gold rush shit out here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
totally. We panned for gold in the 3rd grade.
Man.
It was gold flakes. But,
Yeah.
you know,
You
still
get to
tight.
keep a little vial of
Yeah.
like the gold flakes you find.
And then I lost my gold flakes.
Me
and got
too!
very- oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It could have been rich.
Yeah, mine's probably just through media
Okay.
and learning about the Donner Party or whatever.
Oh,
There you
I
go.
don't
It's
know.
a high watermark.
Yeah.
Trail of Tears, Donner Party. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of bad shit in terms of the westward expansion of the United States. But
They get into that
Yeah.
a little bit in this
Yeah.
game. I haven't seen a ton
Good,
of it
I
yet,
mean,
or I'm still early enough.
the
in
mythos
story.
in the 50s and 60s that everybody grew up in then was all very much kind of like the indomitable spirit of eminent
rah,
destiny.
rah, frontier spirit.
It's not
No,
always
there's like
super-
there's one woke guy at your camp who's talking about how we stole the land and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the kind of widespread slaughter of the bison and stuff like that
Yeah.
is touched on. I mean, yeah.
Well,
there's-
that's an achievement in the first game, right?
Yeah.
Is killing the final.
yeah, in this one they kind of condemn it. So yeah, they seem to have shifted gears a little bit, but yeah, man,
It's a hell of a game.
There's a
Hell
lot
of a
going
game.
on there.
Are you guys playing? There's more stuff. It's kind of a weird. It's always November is when everything comes out. Are you gonna fight this dude to completion before moving on to anything else? or-
God.
Do you
I don't
have
know.
that option as
So
professional
I
daunting.
games?
don't know. I don't.
I have so many games that I've been saving like the last little bits for, or like, certain achievements, certain unlocks and stuff for the end of the year so I can have it fresh in my
Yeah.
mind. Like the last level of Celeste or unlocking the last squad into the breach and stuff like that. That I've just like built it all up and I thought, yeah, I can do this all in kind of early November. And
Sure, whatever.
Fucking Red Dead, man.
It feels like a game. If I was playing it on my own time, it would take me like 2 months to finish it. Like that. Like
Yeah.
that's A, that's how much stuff is in there, and B, that's the pace I want to play it at. Is just this kind of languid, like take it all in, let stuff happen.
But I think part of it as well is playing original Red Dead. If you'd put all that time in and you had that ending spoiled for you, I have no idea what the
Yeah.
ending of this game's going to be like.
Yeah.
But I imagine they have that to contend with. They're
Yeah.
kind
Sure.
of one-upping themselves.
Yeah.
I just don't. And it's it's the YouTube thing now. I was a friend of mine was like, be careful looking at Red Dead stuff on YouTube because I just had the end of the game suggested to me.
Oh yeah. Sometimes Google autofill will be like that. You can type in Red Dead Redemption 2 and then it's like character death, like
Yeah.
character's
Oh,
name
cool.
death or something, and it's just cool. Because people who don't care about spoilers will seek that stuff out, and so it flows to the top of the algorithm, and
And to be honest,
everyone else gets fucked.
being on the internet these days, I remember a few years ago I tweeted that I was watching a show for the first time and someone just tweeted me back with the ending. And I was
They
like,
saved you a lot of time.
cool, great, thanks. And it's not that I don't trust the internet, it's just I don't trust myself not to accidentally uncover the ending.
Yeah.
And so I just want to get through it and then take more time and uncover everything about it.
I feel like it's a credit to the storytelling that we even care about the ending, because I went into this saying, hey, it's a prequel, like you more or less know how things are going to play out, but like, yeah, I am fascinated to see how they pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hell of a game.
Hell of a game.
Yes. Such a game that it has taken us all the way to our first break.
Hey.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Home security.
Home security?
Yeah, sure, you can keep your doors locked. You can bar the windows, keep them locked too, but...
Every man's castle.
Uh-huh.
Something.
Yeah.
That's the saying.
That is the saying. Every man's castle, something. And that something is SimpliSafe.
Oh.
Yeah. SimpliSafe is designed to keep you safe, keep your belongings secure, no matter what. If a storm takes out your power, the SimpliSafe home security system is ready.
With what?
We're ready to let people know, hey, there's bad people afoot.
Aha. It's ready with preparedness.
Exactly. It is prepared to let people know if some stuff's going down. Yeah. If an intruder cuts your phone line, SimpliSafe is ready.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, because they don't want the phone calls to get out.
What kind of jerk?
Criminals.
Man.
Criminal jerks.
You can't trust them.
Yes. No, that's the criminals right in the name. Say they destroy the keypad or the siren, SimpliSafe will still get you the help you need. Maybe it's overkill. Maybe you don't need to be ready for every worst-case scenario, but SimpliSafe is always ready.
You should be ready for everything.
Yeah.
Every scenario.
Well,
What if a meteor falls on your house?
SimpliSafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if dinosaurs come back?
SimpliSafe.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good call.
SimpliSafe could cost an arm and a leg, but it does not. They charge you what's fair. That's $14.99 a month with no contracts, no hidden fees.
What if you spend all your money on all those copies of ET out in the desert?
Exactly. If you need to keep those secure,
then
$14.99 a month.
Yeah.
Get this SimpliSafe system. You can load it out in a lot of different ways depending on what your needs are. If you need, you got a lot of windows, get more window sensors.
Yeah.
Motion
detecting.
Yeah. Detect stuff around your home, and then when it's not you doing the things, SimpliSafe is ready.
Good. I hope so.
Go today to simplisafe.com/bombcast. That's SimpliSafe, SimpliSafe.com/bombcast.
What's this about the devil's lettuce?
That's where we're jumping in.
Coffee, man.
We come out of a break and Rory has given me 3 to 5 different things I can ask about at the beginning.
You don't want to talk about this GIF he tweeted out?
It's a great gift.
I showed it
It's
to
a
him.
really good
It plays
gift.
very well on the audio podcast.
But my tweet, but we and Jeff talked about Twitter not too long ago. Or
Did you
we
say
talked,
we and Jeff?
We and Jeff on UPF because we all were around him, and he started talking about he doesn't tweet very much anymore, and neither do I. I just find the dumbest bullshit and throw it up there because that's the extent that I want to interact with Twitter is
Since you blew up and became insanely
my
Twitter famous.
virality meter is way too high.
That's your contribution to the world. Bullshit.
I am
Tweeting less.
honestly the experience of after going viral. A lot of porn bots replying to you. So
No, he's right.
Well,
Yeah,
there's our episode title.
yeah.
How do you feel now, Mr. Viral?
Less likely
What are you
to
doing
interact
with your
with.
newfound fame and influence?
Oh man,
Can you cough on me?
The paychecks are just
I-
rolling in now, right?
cover my mouth. I try my best.
No, I want you to cough on me.
Oh, okay.
Because you're viral.
Yeah, well,
very
I
good.
have been. That plane flight home is fun.
Yes, he's viral in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks
Great.
for old Rory.
Speaking of a rough couple weeks, what games did you want to talk about? You
Oh,
wanna talk about
yeah.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, sure, a little bit, if
Yeah,
you don't mind, if you
sure.
got time for it.
Yeah.
Have you discussed it before?
A little bit here and there. I think
Yeah.
Ben was playing.
Are you?
Yeah, I played like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
And then I
Did you
said,
I'm like
I
20,
don't,
30.
Okay.
Okay.
I said, I don't want to play a game that doesn't respect my time like this, and then immediately started playing Red Dead 2.
So that's what I've heard a lot about it. The leveling curve does kind of immediately go off a cliff really quick. I'm at level 15, and it's already like an hour or two between levels, and the level cap
Yeah.
is 50, so it's like a long way to go. They reintroduced level scaling from the first. The first game didn't have level scaling at all until they patched it in, or Origins didn't. And here they've added it in, so most of the time when you go to a new zone, everything will be your level. You can still go up above them, and they'll be down a little bit below you, which is nice. I'm having a really good time with it. But
There's an easy way to deal with this leveling.
Mhm.
You just pop them $4.99 for an XP doubler.
Oh,
is that it?
I didn't realize that.
What does it say that I feel like that's very cheap?
I actually don't
figured-
know that's $4.99. It
I
could
figured
be-
it'd be at least
it could be
$10.
more.
I really have to say that Ubisoft does a really good job of not putting any of that shit in your face. The store is pretty obscured. You don't ever have to look at it. It's like you have to go to the menu and hit right on your D-pad, and then the store opens up. It's mostly cosmetic. A lot of the complaints I've seen about the XP, it feels like the game was supposed to go twice as fast, and then they just cut it down.
Yeah.
Which happens in a lot of games. The betas of WoW always have super fast leveling. I have to mention WoW at least once per. It's per
Good
contract.
job.
Per contract.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it a lot. I like Cassandra as a character, and I'm not sure if I forget the male option.
Alexios.
Is it the same backstory to him, or is it a whole different? I don't know.
I know one person who played as Alexios, and that was because everyone else in the office was playing as Cassandra, and they said we needed some B-roll.
She's just a really well written character. I like. They've done. Bayek was really good, and Cassandra's really good. Just sassy and kind of nonchalant in a lot of her interactions, which is really fun.
How do they present the choice? Like, do they
you
try to
have
steer you in one direction or another? Or is it just a very flat selection?
Yeah,
just
male or female,
left or right?
There's 2 sets of DNA on this spear. Do you want to be the dude?
Like, do they give you any sense of what the characters are like before you pick, or is it
They
just
show
do you want to play male or female?
They show you the pictures.
Yeah, that's basically
Okay,
it.
that's it.
And I have no idea if Alexios has the same, because there's a pretty involved backstory for Cassandra.
He's more.
Is he Leonidas' son, or is that the same thing, or is it a whole different thing?
Grandnephew, grandson, something. He's related to Leonidas. Yes.
Okay.
Twice removed.
So I think it's the same origin story, but he's a completely different character. He's just more of like a typical kind of like not smarmy, but just like, a little
Typical Rye video game meathead.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun so far. I like a lot of the mechanical changes they've made since Origins. But for me, especially with all you're talking about how long you play RDR4, I am really playing Odyssey for like half an hour at a time, bust out a couple things, and then put it away for a little while. Because I'm going through between that and Destiny 2 a lot lately because I've been trying to get that gun. I did get that gun.
You got the gun.
And Destiny 2 is like really much.
They added a gun to Destiny?
Yeah.
Now there's a gun in there now. It's
If you're doing the haunted forest stuff, you can get a 600 level gun, which I needed to get above to a point where I could go to the blah, blah, blah. But both those games I'm kind of cycling through half hour at a time, which really for me is kind of like the ideal amount of time to play a game. Because I mentioned my WoW subscription's out.
I mean, both of those games are, well, I haven't played Assassins, but from the sound of it, they're both nothing but checkboxes and meters to fill up and like very short, regimented, like milestone activities that you can just do over and over.
I mean, you're basically clearing out, forts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The main story stuff is it's interesting enough. It's not really compelling to me. Not like quite like Bayek's mission of vengeance right away was kind of just sucked you in. I want to kill all these people. I just found out the cult in Odyssey that I have to start tracking down, which is nice to know that there's some kind of organization that I'm going to be fighting. Because it's all, I think Origins was set around 0 BC and Odyssey set like 400 or 300 BC. So it's actually before Origins, which is a weird shift back in time. But these are like the real beginnings of the Assassins and the
no,
Templars.
seriously this time.
Yeah, no, seriously, let's reset it all. And so far, well, I think one of the things that I like is that I haven't gone back to the modern world, that Assassin in the Animus thing, because you kept on going back and forth between that really short times in Origins, but I was really always felt like I was disjointed. So here, I've just been Cassandra the whole time, which I kind of like. I like the ship stuff. It feels like a really solid, well put together. That game also just looks fucking beautiful on PC. Origins was the best looking game I've ever played on a computer, and I feel like they've made it run a little better and not quite as amazing looking, but it still is quite good. What else have I been playing? I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14 of all things, because my WoW subscription lapsed, and then I'm starting up Octopath Traveler, which is really weird.
I want to go back to that.
I started as a hunter character. And that's the fucking worst. That's
dude, that's the best one to start as.
No, it's not.
Tactically?
Oh, does he he saith that he catcheth the animaleth in the foresteth. The writing drove me insane.
Once you're out of the hunter zone, though, it's fine, because she's the only one who talks like that in the whole world.
Good.
But like tactically, she's one of the most versatile because she can't switch between those two weapons, which helps a lot.
I restarted and went back as the warrior, and the warrior has this end fight at the end of his little tutorial section that is, I would have died so bad I had not stocked up on healing items. I just kind of wanted one more thing to play on my Switch on top of Hollow Knight, which I think I'm going to go and say that we are going to play some Hollow Knight on Extra Life. Because I have a bunch of bosses saved up.
You don't say.
You want me to beat those for you?
No, I don't. I'm actually really good now. I'm better than you are, probably.
That was a pretty shameful moment the last time.
We'll see.
Ben, speaking of Switch, I totally forgot.
Yep.
I don't know, Lucy, if you've played also Diablo 3 is coming out on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
This week.
Oh, I haven't played it on Switch yet, but I've seen Mike Mahadi do
Yeah.
it.
Apparently it's really solid, right?
It is.
It is.
A, it's fantastic. B, it's Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot to say there.
It's fortunate for me, who's someone who, like, I played the first couple of acts with Diablo 3 with a bunch of friends, and then they all
went way high level than you.
They went way higher level than me, and something came up, and I never went back to it. And so now I'm kind of coming to it fresh. It has that DLC.
It's got everything,
like
yeah.
everything. So I'm
Yeah.
playing as the Necromancer
Yeah,
class.
I also started a Necromancer.
which is really fun.
Yeah, it's
Like
fun.
his first ability is just make all these bony spikes shooting
Yeah.
out of the ground.
I'm really curious
everywhere.
how
It's
that
pretty
game would
awesome.
hold up if you have like you can get like 4 skeletons, 1 golem. You can get a huge amount of stuff on the
Yeah,
screen.
so
all the
that's-
time.
I've had like 8 skeletons following me around.
Yeah.
It's
and
still-
it's got
it's-
4-player multiplayer,
Yeah.
so I think we're gonna like get 4
Yeah.
people together and see how
Yeah.
it holds up. But it
Give
runs.
me Path of Exile on Switch. And I'll try that.
That'd be nice. I just downloaded Xbox Games for Gold. I can't wait to check out the Victor Varn.
Victor Vran.
Oh,
Victor
that
Vran.
Vran.
Anybody?
I want to check that out.
You ever played Grim Dawn?
No.
I always hear Grim Dawn's one another top-down like loot Diablo
I
style
think that's
game.
the Titan Quest team, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
They're
sure.
still racking out Titan Quest ports. They put that on Switch, right? It was terrible. I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that
I heard it
port was
ran
very
really
bad.
badly. Diablo runs fantastic.
I
on the
hear
Switch.
it.
Like it's
Really
in,
good things.
in handheld or.
Dogs. The
yeah.
one complaint I hear about it is the UI being super
Yes,
small.
yes. In handheld mode, some of the text, I mean, like, it's making me feel old because I'm just squinting like I need bifocals
no, that's
or
me. I'm
something.
like-
But yeah, like
And I
some
do
of-
need those. I'm like,
some of the text is like crazy small on the handheld screen. But also, like you don't have to play through the story. It's got the adventure mode unlocked from the start.
Yeah, huh?
So I feel like I'm
I think they
stripping.
patch that
I'm-
for because if you're playing a second
Yeah, I'm
second
sure.
alt character,
I'm sure
it's
all
really
the, I'm,
annoying to go.
I'm sure all the versions have that at this
it's
point. but,
not
like,
a great story mode.
playing it. Yeah, but playing it this way because adventure mode lets you just jump from act to act, like
Right.
any
You're
environment
getting
you want.
bounties and stuff. Yeah.
Like the bounties seem like randomly generated. Like I feel like I'm stripping that game down to its bare mechanical essence to the point that it's barely a game at this point. Like
Well, that-
I'm just
I mean-
running around holding A in and killing everything and like hitting auto equip on everything. Like
really-
I'm only like half playing it at this point.
It's really interesting to compare like Diablo 3 to Destiny because Destiny 2, Destiny 1 all had these severe storyline problems when they came out. Diablo 3 did too.
Yeah.
It was the biggest complaint about the game. And also mechanically, that game had severe issues and Blizzard has $1 billion to spend fixing this stuff.
Yeah.
Take out the auction house. They didn't rewrite unfortunately that story is really, really bad. I just always remember that going through that Act 3 fortress of the guys like, you can't possibly defeat me. You can't get that past my next monster. And then you just keep on steamrolling. And he's never surprised, never loses any confidence. So if I was going to play Diablo 3 on the Switch, I would probably, I'm glad they have the option to kind of skip all that bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But again, it's just like I'm just
Did you ever play,
blindly playing through these bounties and not really paying attention.
you ever play the storyline for the expansion though? I forget what it's called. Not Lord of Destruction or.
Oh God, it's not
Lord of Destruction.
Reaper of Souls.
Yeah, Reaper of
Yeah.
Souls. That Act 5 storyline is decent.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's not bad. I would recommend going through that at least once if you
Yeah.
haven't done it.
Yeah, but that thing plays super well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
for what it is. It's pretty impressive on that thing.
I mean, when they ported that to PS4 and Xbox, people gave them very high marks. I know Jeff really liked playing it on the PS4. I think when it came out. So,
Yes.
that's just a weird game to still be. I mean, they're still supporting StarCraft and everything like that. But the big thing about BlizzCon is this weekend, and they
Yes.
kind of went ahead and said, "Don't expect much Diablo news. We're not going to really rock your world with any Diablo 4."
Yeah.
Which is weird to hear that ahead of time, but it seems like they're really kind of tempering expectations. But after Diablo 3, if they have any Diablo news at BlizzCon, what do you think it would be? Like
I
Diablo
think
2?
last week we talked about it. And I think our
Okay.
conclusion was a Diablo 2 remaster.
Man, I want a whirlwind.
one or two.
Thanks for
or
listening
both.
to the Bombcast,
Yeah, thanks.
Rory.
I was sick and I had a bad foot.
Oh, you can't listen to a podcast on your back?
What, you need your foot to listen? Or
Yeah.
ears? Are your
The way I
ears
do
on
it,
your
yeah.
ankle? No, Rory was legitimately in a pretty bad way.
Yeah, I know.
I feel bad.
Uh,
You're hobbling around the office with
I
crutches
was
and stuff.
Man,
It's not a good office for feet.
no. Well, that's also
It's not a good city for feet, really.
Yeah.
When you get down to it.
I'm better now. Right in time for extra life. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, just in time to
Just in time to
Stay up all
use
night.
my body more.
stream for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Y'all got any other games you want to talk about? What else
I'm
on?
always constantly playing Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot lately.
Really?
I keep meaning to add you, but you're playing on PC, right?
I am.
So I haven't set up my PC over here yet, so I'm still playing on PS4.
I'd be interested to try console out. I've never played on console, but it seems like for certain heroes, I'd be able to have a good time.
Like Soldier and
Yeah.
Diva. Console to me feels a lot slower and it's more difficult to coordinate with your team unless you're on voice chat and
Which is terrible.
which is
How did you move
universally
your
terrible.
PC? Did you take it apart?
It's a gaming laptop actually.
Okay,
That's how I
okay.
lie. But it's it's a Razer one, so it's
Sure.
really
I've been
18 pounds.
considering going to Costco and getting something a little nicer than my work laptop just for my work laptop can play WoW and that's about it. And Into the Breach and stuff like that. But I kind of want to have more
more oomph.
flexibility. Yeah, just go to Costco. If it doesn't work out, just return it. There's so many good scales of laptop now that can play a wide array of stuff. Like I think a lot of them have 1060 Ti's now, the new stuff. So, been tempted.
Yeah.
I've been pretty much only playing Wrecking Ball.
I can't.
Wait, is that a character?
Yeah, he's a
Man, I am-
hamster
I am-
inside
oh,
of a
that
jar.
guy. Okay, yes.
I
Yes.
can't.
I feel like it was. I feel like I took a very long break from Overwatch. I played the first season, maybe 2 seasons, and then came back, I don't know, 2 months ago. And I feel like because my brain wasn't trained, I haven't been playing Overwatch all this time. I can approach it differently because he doesn't play like anyone else in that game.
He's the one who swings.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about kind of grappling and trying to knock people around and just basically do crowd control, right? Just kind of disrupt fights and stuff and slam down on people. And it's just so fun because you can get so fast. Like if you're really
Yeah.
firing on all cylinders.
I've seen some gifs of people just going through an entire level without hitting
Yeah.
the ground.
Yeah, that totally. It's a lot of fun, and people still really don't know how to deal with it a lot. So it's just like cheesy and fun, and
Yeah.
I just hop into quick play and sing the hamster dance and go crazy and just.
I love that
fun.
character because I love how mad people got about the idea of a hamster. Like
Yeah.
people got really mad.
What is there to get mad about?
I know.
There's already a
It's like-
talking.
It's already a talking gorilla and like aliens and shit, and like that's the one that you're gonna fucking get mad about. Oh, hamsters! Now Blizzard's really done it. My lore, I can't.
Not respecting the fiction.
I can't pretend to get married to these characters if there's a hamster in it anymore. God. I love the Overwatch fandom is something really amazing to see from the outside because every Blizzard game has amazing fans who really take it as seriously as you should, and then some people take it way too fucking seriously. It's always fun to see all that kind of stuff. And one of the BlizzCon, we might have more talk about BlizzCon because it's this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Starts Friday, I think.
Yeah. So there's some other interesting stuff coming out of there, but those cosplayers are always kind of the highlight of that shit.
Yeah.
But man, yeah.
Probably get a new character at BlizzCon for Overwatch.
Huh.
I hope so. I
feel like
mean,
it's-
they said no new map,
Yeah.
definitely, but they've made a bunch of changes. I think the payload on Route 66 has changed.
Uh-huh.
There might be a new. I reckon animated short.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks McCree.
That would
At
be
least
a-
there was a 4chan
Those
leak.
those shorts are really good.
Yeah, that's so good.
Blizzard is still amazing at creating cinematic experiences.
Fantastic, yeah.
I'm
Did you-
amazed they haven't made a movie.
Yeah.
I'm really amazed.
Well, they did. I mean, they made the World of Warcraft movie. It wasn't them
I
doing
mean,
the cinematics,
yeah.
which I always think back on. And like having ILM, it was a fine enough movie to the orc stuff was really well done. It was not a good movie by any means, and that's one of the weirdest things about Duncan Moon, like going from source code and Moon, Duncan Jones, sorry, kind of dropped off. I don't know. I guess that did he.
He did Mute.
He did
as well.
Mute.
I didn't
Yeah,
watch that.
I didn't
though.
The
hear
worst
any
word of
great
mouth.
things.
But yeah, I mean, imagine you're a cinematic artist at Blizzard, and they say we're gonna make Warcraft, but you're not doing it. We're gonna hire it out. It's kind of I don't know. But then everybody goes back to the Square Enix thing where they spent $200 million to make a movie studio and lost all of it. So
Yeah. Do you keep up with the pro scene at all?
So I did back in like May, June. Tam and I made this series with Joey, this series and Richard, where we kind of embedded in the Overwatch League.
Wow.
It was crazy. We kind of went there for 2 weeks and we had interviews with a bunch of pro players. Obviously, they gave us Jeff for 2 hours, which is
Whoa.
like unheard of.
Yeah.
been a lot of turnover there lately. Too.
How was his
It's
aura?
it's magnificent. it was amazing because we were in Blizzard's. They have this on-campus library, and they have a bunch of games and comic books and old consoles and board games as well. And they have these weird doors where they're these great big wooden doors with a little latch in it. And Tam and I was talking, and Richard and Joey were setting up the shot. And Jeff just walks past and does this, like, goes out of the frame, backs up and goes, "Hey!" He comes in. He's really great. And he genuinely, talking to him about setting up the league and stuff. And he tells the story about when, I'm going to forget which team it was, but like his team won the Stanley Cup and stuff. And it
Capitals.
I don't know.
The Capitals won the last Stanley Cup.
Oh,
so-
no, it was in 2012.
Oh.
Yeah. Who was the 2012 Stanley Cup winner?
Red Wings?
Yeah, pop quiz.
I don't know.
Probably the Penguins, actually. Probably
Mr.
the Penguins.
Sports.
They've won a few recently. I'm going to read the YouTube comments for this one and fucking get some abuse. So I probably was the Penguins. I don't know.
You should get abused for not knowing who won the 2012 Stanley Cup.
God, I don't even remember.
Can we just talk about Gritty for a while? That's
No.
the extent of my knowledge of hockey.
But
Okay.
he just, he kind of just cares so much about the game, and
Yeah,
he's
he
so
really does.
he's so eloquent. And when he was talking about the players, it was kind of like he was talking about his own children, about how much he was, he wanted to make sure they were
The
getting
Kings.
Kings.
The Kings.
There you go.
Sorry.
About they wanted to get paid and have benefits and have an actual. But so we did this series, and actually going to the arena is really cool. And I don't follow sport at all, but when I went, I really got kind of sucked up into it. And then of course the London team won, so it's fine.
That helps.
The London boys who'd never.
Sure.
They
been to
do great.
London.
They do great presentations. Apparently, Blizzard. I know the Dota ones are really amazing too. But
Yes.
Yeah, they got DJ Khaled himself.
I heard that was the worst thing that
It was
anybody ever saw.
An
Were you there?
experience. No, I just watched
Okay.
the whole thing.
Oh god.
Yeah, they announced the BlizzCon musical artist, and the headliner is Train, San Francisco's
What?
own
What?
Train.
Is
Hell
there
yeah!
Drops of Jupiter
Yeah, baby,
Man.
Jupiter!
And there's a couple other ones too, but yeah, Train. I mean, people.
Speaking of weird, did you guys see that Tony Hawk was one of the keynote speakers at TwitchCon?
What?
Man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Games
that-
got weird. Video game, the whole everything is weird.
all I know about esports is that I was in this is a very short travel story. I was in Barcelona, and we went up to the Olympic kind of stadium they built for the '94 Olympics, I think. And there's a big building called Department de Esports. I was like, oh, it's a big building for esports. That's really crazy. I didn't realize in it's Catalan, Spanish, or Castilian. That just
Yeah.
means sports. I was like, that's a big
Nice.
building all for esports. But
Nice.
it took me like a day to realize that it's probably just sports.
Goddamn Americans.
Is it the Luxor in Vegas is now like a giant
Yeah.
esports
Yeah.
arena?
Wow.
I went there
Just
after
for esports?
after
Something like that.
after Evo. They had like they have a esports arena. That's a huge thing in Vegas. There's like 2 or 3 in development. One that's done. Got some serious like big funding behind them. They have esports bars. Pretty soon, I'm sure you'll be able to like go to any booker and just bet on esports. It's crazy.
Feels like esports has the high. There was recently a dude, like in terms of gambling. I would never gamble on esports, but there was definitely a dude who had like a aim hack on his computer, and they were going over to inspect his computer after the match, and he quickly started to hit the delete key. They had like physically restrain him.
Wow.
There's so much opportunity for cheating or throwing games in esports that I could not.
Well, that's what killed StarCraft.
Oh yeah,
It was
match
just
throwing
yeah.
exchanging matches, right?
Mhm.
Like kind of like they do in sumo.
Yeah.
Sumo wrestling, big match throwing.
Yeah.
Problem.
Can't trust it.
Nope.
Uh,
I don't gamble in sumo wrestling myself.
Probably a wise move. Y'all got any other games you want to talk about before we move on?
I'm still checking through Obra Dinn. I talked about it last week, kind of the premise and stuff like that. I just wanted to say that it is still fantastic.
I hear amazing things.
I am
about that.
going through so slow because I'm enjoying it so much that I don't want it to be over. And I feel like it's one of those games that once you play through, you can't really play through again once you know everything. And so I've kind of gone through the main story. I'm doing big air quotes. I've only solved, I don't know, maybe half of the murders or whatever have you, incidents. God, it's still just fantastic. It's really not, it's making me feel unlike other video games have ever made me feel. And it's not necessarily because it plays great or anything like that, or even it's just like the story isn't even necessarily anything that hasn't been done before. It's just a combination of so many things putting you there, the sound design, the look of it. It's just all the perfect blend of kind of this just really mysterious, grueling, heartbreaking experience that it's funny playing that in the shadow of Red Dead, right? This game that one guy spent 5 years on versus a game that 2,000 people spent 8 years on, or whatever the numbers are, that are both in a way for me equally enjoyable. It just speaks to how the medium of video games is so versatile. It's really cool to have both of these things just right there next to each other.
Do you have a sense of what it would be like to step away from that game? Like, does it require you to remember everything you've done up to the point that you're at to build on like the stuff you've already deduced? Or
It's more of just trying to go back and find specifics. You kind of remember generally what happened in each chapter, because you get these little pictures that show you just like the first frame of the memory that you would experience. And so it's just kind of like, oh, okay, I remember this is the chapter where they went out in the little boats, and it's just that small crew. okay, but I need to know what happened to the third person that died, so I'll relive that memory. But it's not too bad to step away from. I haven't spent more than like a week away from it, so I imagine it's something you would want to finish within like a month or so of playing.
There's a lot to play.
You still playing Hollow Knight at all? No? Really? Did you beat it or
No, I only play it when you're having trouble with bosses.
Okay, well, I got the double jump now, so everything's easier now. I literally have at least 3 or 4 boss fights like queued up, waiting to go, because I like cursing in front of a camera, and that game makes me fucking go at it.
I
So.
really feel like Hollow Knight is 2018's Mr. Shifty.
Hey, man.
Here.
That's
Best-
a hell of a comparison,
Mr.
because
Shifty
Mr.
is
Shifty
eternal.
Game of the year comes
is-
around. Best Mr. Shifty is going to Hollow Knight.
I might bring
Best-
my save over and play the second to last level of Mr. Shifty
best
on Extra
best
Life.
game that Rory talks about.
Dude, nobody's
constantly.
ever played it.
No, WoW wins that every year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Man, no, not this year, man. BFA is it's astonishing to see the reactions to Battle for Azeroth be as negative as they are.
Really?
Even with a like you said, Stockholm Center before. What's the other word for like a captive audience that you don't want to? I'm not going to go into BFA right now. But
Point is taken.
I feel like we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's not. I literally have let my sub lapse for the first time in a long time because it's just not doing anything for me. So that's a game I'm not playing. How about that,
Okay,
Brad?
thanks
Let's finish it up with that.
for the report. Good to know. All right, let's move into the news, shall we?
Some big news this week.
You think so?
Yeah.
What qualifies as big news to you? On this
Well, let's go. I'll rank them as we go. How
list? Okay,
about that?
all right. Rory's ranking of news. Here we go. The story I put at the top,
Yes.
which I typically feel like I guess is the
I
most
wish-
interesting one.
I wish Jeff was here for this, but I'm sure we'll talk about it.
This is
for-
definitely a
yeah.
game that we could use some of Jeff's historical knowledge. Oh, no, not game, news story. Sorry, but they have announced the full list of 20 games that will be coming on
Hit
the
me with it.
PlayStation Classic
Give it to me.
in the U.S. And I believe this is also true for the European version. I don't think there are any differences. Here's the
All right.
list:
Yeah.
Battle Arena Toshinden,
Fuck yeah. Well, one's okay.
Cool Borders 2,
Hell yeah.
Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7,
Boo.
Grand Theft. Whoa, what?
I don't know. I put a different one on.
Yeah, me
You
too.
mean a different Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
I'm,
8.
I'm
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
were
I'm with
Sony and wanted to hit the big audience,
Yeah, I guess.
I'm with
Put
you.
7 on.
I'm with you, but
A lot of these choices that they made are for the wide audience and not the best games, even within that series. Let's finish it up
Yeah.
and we'll talk about it.
Grand Theft Auto, like the first one,
Okay.
like the overhead one, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo,
fuck yeah.
Siphon Filter.
The PlayStation version is not great. The Dreamcast one's the one you want.
Wait, they put that up for Dreamcast?
I think.
Puzzle Fighter?
I don't know.
All right, you research that one. Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms.
So what I know, a lot of people are saying is that a lot of those games have better sequels that would have been the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Destruction Derby 2 is far better. What was the second to last one? The
Twisted Metal?
Twisted Metal
Yeah.
2 is far better than Twisted Metal.
Dan was personally affronted that they didn't put Twisted Metal
And
2
obviously,
on here.
these are not rights issues when you're getting the first one. You could get the second one, but I think it's
Probably.
a weird.
We don't know that for sure.
It's
but-
just a weird choice to make to pick the first one, I mean, unless they're going to do another PlayStation Mini next year with like better games on it. But
Well, that's the 25th anniversary next year, right? This is the 24th anniversary, so it would make sense if they just.
I don't know, or if they really re-release it with more games on it, because it's not like memory issue, storage is an issue.
I mean, that's not how these things have been going. This is obviously this is Sony's
I don't
first
know.
one. But,
It's a kind of a weird, baffling list in a lot of ways. It's solid overall.
it's okay.
I was never in the market for this. I haven't bought any of this SNES minis or anything like that.
I think it's really important they got Metal Gear on there.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's like the big one for me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like the biggest? I don't know, man. Like just in terms of sales, it's probably like GTA 3 or Vice.
Well,
Oh,
GTA
no, I'm
3
sorry.
2 would have
Oh wait,
even
3. I'm sorry, that was a
GTA 2 would have been a better choice than
PS2
GTA
game.
1.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
you're right. I totally forgot what platform that was on.
I think GTA 2 came out for PlayStation.
I mean, some of the big names that have been floating around that people don't seem super thrilled about, like Gran Turismo.
some of these
Yeah.
are right stuff.
What else?
But Gran Turismo should have been easy. Maybe car licenses.
Yeah,
would
I
have
mean
been
that's the thing. Like Tony Hawk is another big one.
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
stuff for that. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Crash
music.
Bandicoot, but like I mean, in all cases, there's like some business reason holding the stuff.
There was
back.
already
Like,
that Crash remaster.
yeah, like
thing,
Activision
like-
is making remakes of Crash and Spyro like a going concern right now, so
Yeah.
that shuts that down. Like Tony Hawk's got all that music licensing in it. Gran Turismo's got a billion car brands to deal with. I
They're
mean,
never going to make everybody happy.
No.
My specific thing is that they could have had the sequels, which were much better than the original games in a lot of these cases, and it's weird that they didn't.
Yeah.
Unless you really have to get caught up in the lore of Destruction Derby before going into 2.
I'm sure they felt like they needed some launch games in there. Just
Sure.
to
Oh,
kind of.
maybe.
But no, Warhawk. I mean, Warhawk
Yeah,
launch
man.
is one of the best.
Yeah.
One of my favorite launch titles
Had
from
the
PlayStation.
best drunken missiles of the PlayStation
Dude,
launch.
man, and the weird Red Mercury evil dude too. Oh,
Did that game have FMV in it?
was that?
Did that game have FMV?
Yeah, I think it did. I think
Yeah.
it had like at least some like really rough CGI kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm.
I like Warhawk. Unironically, I don't think I ever played the one that's shutting down now, the PS4
Yes.
3 one.
PS3.
But Warhawk launch title was immediate kind of.
That's a good game.
It was really good. It was really fun. I don't know if it'd hold up now, but
Probably not.
I'm surprised to see Persona on there, actually.
Yeah, that feels like it's trading on the popularity of the more recent ones. But
Yeah.
does
For
anybody
sure.
remember?
I
I don't know. When you talk about Persona, you talk like 3, 4,
3, 4, 5.
Totally, yeah.
You don't talk about
I'm having
Even the like Shin Megami people, like Devil Summoner and
Mm.
stuff like that.
like, does
kinda-
this game even have high school kids in it?
It does Eagles in it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these games. I mean, the NES and the SNES Mini have some absolute classics stuff that as gameplay has shifted in a way that we haven't necessarily improved on a lot of that stuff. It's just very different. But a lot of these games are kind of the PlayStation games are kind of the bedrock of what we still play now. And design and handling and everything has moved on in such a way that I have a feeling that a lot of these are going to be really hard to go back to.
Yeah, I think I said when this is announced that this generation is probably the highest discrepancy between like fondness for and actual playability.
Like probably
Yeah.
aged the worst
Yeah.
out of all consoles for sure.
I mean, I'd play Final Fantasy VII again. Maybe I don't know how that remake's going to
so
turn out.
many
Dude,
other
just
ways to
wait
play
for
it
the
now.
remake.
I
The remake's
know.
coming any day.
Yeah.
now.
I'm not trying to shit on this too much. I'm just really curious if people, get it as a collectible versus the people who actually play all this stuff and realize like they were amazing at the time. That
Yeah.
PlayStation launch was
Totally.
that Saturn PlayStation era was one of my favorite because I was 17 when all this stuff came out. It was fucking great.
Camera angles in Metal Gear Solid blew my fucking
yeah.
mind when that game came out. I mean, it was a
but-
huge thing. But
But yeah, I really don't mean to sound skeptical. I hope people enjoy these games a bunch. But
where's Parappa?
a lot of
Yeah.
rose-colored
He got
glasses,
the-
kind of.
A new remake, though.
Yeah, that's sure. Yes, right.
Okay, so what's the next classic?
Um,
There's been talk about N64. They registered like some sort of trademark for
Yeah.
the controller or something.
yeah.
Man, MS-DOS Classic coming to you.
Word Perfect 6.2.
Get
There
your
you go.
boot disk ready to free up your EC RAM.
Yep. You got to load your mouse driver into high memory.
Yeah, I'm kind of sure. I would bet there would be some kind of emulate. Somebody needs to make a Steam game about trying to launch like Master of Magic with
I
your
would
64. Man,
Super play the shit out of some.
man,
Configure your autoexec.bat.
never felt like such a badass when I freed up enough memory to load Master of Magic.
What are they talking about?
Computers used to be terrible.
Computers.
Computers used to be fucking awful.
You had to load up.
You had to pull the bugs out of them, right?
my
there was, like
God.
bugs would
Oh.
get stuck in them, and you had
Like,
to clean
seriously,
them.
if you don't know, you have to.
You used to buy games for a computer and maybe not play them for 3 to 5 days because you couldn't get them to work.
You
Wow.
literally had to have it was like 64 kilobytes of memory. Then I'm gonna get all this wrong, and somebody's really gonna get mad. But you literally had to write a boot disk to free up memory. It's kind of like in Apollo 13 where they had to redo the simulator to get the amount of voltage they
You're saying you're
needed.
basically an astronaut.
I'm basically an NASA scientist. It was really difficult. And then Windows, 95.
It was all
came
worth
along.
it for the games you were playing, though.
Dude, XCOM and Master of Magic, all these games were
Fucking
fundamental.
Getting X-Wing to run was like I got X-Wing for Christmas and I probably didn't play it till New Year's. Like, it was fucking awful.
Also, rose-colored glasses. Like I've tried to go back to XCOM
Yeah.
and Master of Magic, and
Yeah.
these kind of things are, they're 20, 25 years
I
old.
goof on this, but I just told the story to my friend recently of when I spent a week trying to get my friend who burned a copy of Halo for the PC to work on my iMac.
Yeah, man.
I
Say
did,
what
not,
you
I did
will.
not succeed on that
I was
front.
gonna say,
It didn't work, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one.
Man. Windows like 95, 97, and was it 2K, 2000, Windows 2000? Was that one of the versions? Say what you will about Windows, but they did make gaming on the PC a lot
Yeah,
easier.
like computers pre-plug and play were a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, man.
I cannot explain.
Remember
to you.
Sound Blaster live drivers were
Dude,
just
yeah,
fucking shit for like 5
your,
years.
Setting your fucking blaster environment variables.
We need to
on
call
your
up Dave
boot disk.
Snyder right now and talk about
Yeah,
all this
dude,
stuff.
like Dave would do that stuff all day long.
Man.
For sure. Did you ever write a modem in its string?
I never played much online. Mine just the experience of having your parent pick up the phone and like cutting off your download. Mom.
Yeah,
All right.
Mom.
that one's relatable.
That's enough old man PC
Yeah,
talk.
sorry. I can ramble. I'm known for it.
What?
Anyway, kind of an okay list on this thing. I feel like it's
Japanese one is more
Could be
RPG heavy.
Yeah, like it's got Arc the Lad and Arc the Lad 2 on it, if that tells you anything.
Feels like 20 is a very arbitrary cutoff number. Like they just
yeah, sure.
they could have probably I don't know what
They got Parasite Eve in Japan though. That's kind of a cool pickup. I feel like.
This is $99.
Yes.
Man, that's a
December
that's a
3rd.
chunk.
Not bad.
it's okay.
20
It's not-
games.
I'm not gonna play all those games.
No, I'm not gonna play any of those games.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a nostalgia piece.
I'm really curious to see how it does compared to the I mean, Nintendo has I think those were more so unique and kind of had a cachet behind them when they came out. The rarity thing was kind of
Yes.
forced rarity,
Yeah.
but knowing Sony, they'll print like 18 million of these and sell
Yes.
two or something
Yeah.
like that.
They'll sell plenty of this.
I think this one will do fine with like the millennial market and just people who grew up on the PlayStation.
Cut it down to like $60 and make it a stocking stuffer. No, $100 is.
Oh, I see. Millennials are killing the tiny retro
Yeah.
console market. Thanks. Thanks.
I'm really curious to see who like imports the Japanese one to America for the different selection.
Oh,
of games.
dorks.
Yeah.
Arc the Lad's not that good.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Brad.
Yep, that's
You have
right.
to- you have to roll that one back. We can't go live with that take. Are you kidding me?
Throwing down gauntlets here. The preview program has started for the PlayStation Network name changes. And even though the stuff is NDA'd, people that are in the program are out there putting out like the emails that they got with a bunch of information about it.
Sounds fraught.
It sounds, yes, fraud is a good word for
Yeah.
it. Thank you for being here. So we knew the email that's floating around, it starts with, we knew this, they had come out and said, not all games and applications for the PS4, PS3, Vita, and other PlayStation systems support the online ID change feature. We knew that. But this list of other things to watch out for is
Yeah. Your mom might die.
kind of wild. Yeah. Okay. You may lose access to content, including paid-for content that you have acquired for your games, including content like add-ons and virtual currency.
This feels like somebody reading off the side effects of like a medical ad at the end. Where
Yeah,
it's like, you
totally.
might have suicidal ideation if you do
Yeah,
this.
Brad, you need to do this at 4 times speed.
Just kiss your V-Bucks goodbye.
Go ahead. I'll stop interrupting.
You may lose your progress within games, including game save data, leaderboard data, and progress toward trophies. Parts of your games and applications may not function properly, both online and offline. Your previous online IDs may remain visible to you and other players in some places. And then the craziest one to me is that you can revert your name.
Yeah.
But
The preview period.
they go on to say that if you change your name, lose access to certain games, and change your name back, you will not necessarily regain access to the games you lost access to, and you may lose access to more things when you change back. So
It's in the end, it's very bizarre to me because we have username changes for premium people. It's you go into the database, you change a string, and it updates the database, and everything's fine. Everything updates pretty quick. There are some hiccups here and there. You know, a lot of games, online games, have paid, and they do mention their further changes will be paid after this preview period, like $10 per. But I'm really kind of shocked to see that much stuff being tied into your username over there. I mean, Sony's infrastructure was taken down for what, like a whole month one time by a hacker or something like that.
3, wasn't
So,
it? Was it like most of the summer?
They do online better than like Nintendo does, but I have a feeling a lot of this is just an artifact of how old this stuff
totally.
is, and it probably wasn't made in a super. I'm not backyard engineer because I don't know any of this stuff, but it seems like when that many problems are coming up from a name change, it feels like something was maybe done fundamentally in a way that is not very friendly to
Yes.
what they're trying to do.
Somebody made decisions there years ago that people are very angry about now.
I'm just shocked. Like, I don't know. Name changes are. I don't think I've ever name changed myself.
Does
I've never paid
anybody
for-
here in the market? Anybody hate your PlayStation name?
It's the same as my Twitter. I just kind of got that universal branding, you know. Got to keep up branding.
But it's interesting to see how Steam does it, because Steam has your original login, and you can change your username on there as much as you want. Kind of like Twitter has, you can change your tag, but not your @ handle.
Yeah.
It feels like they did a lot of things wrong in the way they did this, to the point where they're offering this when so many things can go wrong.
Yeah,
They're-
that's the weirdest part to me. It's like I understand if they built a system when they just made the decisions to build the system like this, they were very clear on like, okay, we don't need to worry about name changes because they would obviously not build it like this if they were. But I guess demand is so high that people are willing to go through with all of this just to change their PSN name?
They do say that all these things are probably pretty rare. Everything
yes.
new
But-
is.
That's really reassuring.
Yeah. I
Also,
know.
much like prescription drug warnings,
Yeah.
like you're not very
1%.
likely. You're not likely to bleed from your eyes, but
Yeah.
it might
Yeah,
happen.
it might happen.
So we have to tell you.
But they also say like everything after April of this year is going to be
Yes,
fine.
guaranteed, yeah.
90% of stuff, or a lot of things before that are going to be
They've
fine.
said most.
I have a feeling if you're still on a PS3, this might be something you don't want to do.
Yeah. I also feel like they've been saying for years, like, we're probably not going to do the name change thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And now they have this.
Yeah.
And they're kind of going, look,
See what you made us
told
do.
you. It is your own fault.
Yep,
Yeah.
you asked for this.
Why do you make me hurt you?
Yeah. How's it
it's-
been coming over here with? Don't they segregate regional accounts pretty weirdly?
So,
Like has it been a pain in the butt coming over here?
So I have a US PSN account and a UK PSN account. All my trophies are on my UK account, but if I get a code and it goes on my US account, I can play it on my UK account. I'm sorry for the amount of times I'm saying account here.
That's fine.
You have to activate the PlayStation as your primary PlayStation.
Oh, that's really
and
complicated.
then everything can be played
Okay.
on the other account. But if, for example, I'm going between, because all my games are digital now, if I'm going between the office and home, if you forget to deactivate,
Yeah.
you can only deactivate
Once
remotely
every 6 months.
Once every 6 months.
It's amazing. And I tried to deactivate my PS4 one time because me and my fiance both have one, and I think I logged into hers one time. And it took them like 2 weeks to email me back saying it had been done. It's like all of Sony's online stuff is kind of, I don't want to disparage anybody's effort in making this happen, but like their billing address thing, when I try to put in my credit card on their website, it always fails out. I just wind up buying
Yeah,
gift
mine
codes.
does as well.
Yeah, it's weird. You'd think they look into that. We have problems with our billing addresses too through Curly, but that's mostly if you live in like Sweden or something like that. But mine is a good, honest American address. Shouldn't be rejected.
I think they used to have some weird problem where if you didn't like
Capitalize some
spell
stuff?
everything
Yeah.
exactly like the credit card company had
Yeah.
it would reject it. Or
I think
something.
it's, as far as I know, it still does because I just go to
Yeah.
Amazon and buy gift cards there rather than deal with it.
I did PayPal instead.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I was putting all my credit card information, my US card in, and it just kept throwing it back to me. And
I bet after you move, it's like even worse now, probably.
It's not on the UK side. It's fine.
Oh.
It's the US side because it just really hated that.
Just
address.
fly back every time I need to buy a game.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
What could it be?
Try and walk my mum through it on the phone.
Yeah, Sony, it's that whole, again, the whole name change thing, I'm just shocked they even bothered to build it because they say the first one's free, which is great, but then they must think that $10 per name change after that is going to be some kind of revenue stream, but I don't see anybody doing this more than once or
I
twice.
think it's more to prevent abuse.
I
Honestly.
remember Xbox. It was 800 points to change your name.
Oh, wow.
Microsoft points.
Microsoft points. So maybe they just kind of saw them do that and go, hey, people will pay for it. I paid to change my name on Xbox.
Yeah, I know people that
Too
do.
racist before.
No, it was really, really terrible. It was, oh.
I mean, slang is different over
And
there.
I mean, bearing in mind that the first email address I ever made is a misspelling of my own name.
Okay, it's a good
There are
start.
4 letters in my name. It was Luja14785. That's just nothing.
No,
Sounds
yeah.
like one of the
Just
Microsoft made up.
That's
like,
a
Yeah.
spam, but
I'm
that
Pig
account
Herder
just followed me on
75.
Twitter and
Yeah.
is sending new
That's me.
photos.
Yeah, so I paid for that.
yeah. $10 is actually decently reasonable compared to.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, WoW is still $25. I think a lot of other MMOs really do charge an arm and a leg for that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
It's cheaper if you have PS Plus as well, I think.
yeah, half off I think or something like that. So.
Yep. This has been hinted at recently through, I think, data mining is how some people got wind of this, but it's been confirmed that Nier Automata's 2B is coming to Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah.
They have pictures out now. I
Hell
think.
yeah.
Fucking
there's a
there's a trailer.
trailer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fucking awesome pickup. Like that's
Yeah.
It's a great pickup, and then also I'm really excited because in the customization pack that comes with her, you get like the Emil head, you get like a bunch of other props from Nier that you can just equip.
I think she's got a stage too.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like kind of like the like that jungly area where like Pasquale's village.
Okay.
It looks kind of
Okay.
like that.
They ever patch the PC version? I know there was a big thing that they just put it out and never patched it.
The Soul Calibur 6?
Yeah.
No, Nier.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think there's fan patches.
You know if there's widescreen support?
I'll have to look into that.
I never picked it up because the thing was a lot. Some people had problems running it, and I just figured I'd wait.
Is this where you're at now? If it's not 21/9, you won't play it.
I think that game was also, I want to say, maybe capped at 60 or something like that.
Oh,
A lot of
oh
Japanese,
my
Who
god!
are
a lot of Japanese games are.
Uh-huh.
So
Perish the thought.
Hey man, you should come over and see my.
Wait, you got a new monitor? Oh, I'll have to check that out sometime.
You mentioned it, not me.
No, you did.
Brought it up. Never said the word monitor.
Just bookmark Widestream Gaming Forum and you'll be fine.
Moving on.
It sounds like, Ben, maybe you know, it sounds like, are they not selling this thing separately? It looks like you can only get it through the season pass.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Or I couldn't find a price for like an a la carte just buying 2B. Like, 'cause the season pass is $30.
They're not doing console-specific special characters.
No,
No,
they
they
haven't-
not this time.
they
That
haven't
was
done that in a
always
while.
super goddamn annoying.
I actually really like the trailer. Since Ivy is immortal, they just have her kind of standing there for a million
Yeah.
years, and then she runs into 2B, which insinuates that the Nier and Drakengard universes are also
the
in
same
the
as the
Soul
Soul
Calibur
Calibur
universe,
universe? Yeah,
which is also in the Zelda universe and Spawn
And Star Wars.
and Star Wars and Assassin's Creed.
You're giving some movie studio a
And
big
Tekken.
bump.
Yeah, I mean, Disney will own all that stuff eventually anyway, so it's probably fine.
Like, I mean, Ready Player One.
This sounds, maybe I missed something, but did we know that Nier is set in the year like 11,000 something?
Yeah, I think that's
This
a very
trailer?
minor detail that's in there.
Yeah.
Because the first Nier is set in like the BC era.
Okay. Like, it's obvious it's the far future,
Or
but
something.
that's the really far future. That's 5 digits. Also, I am super not used to Soul Calibur being one word. When the fuck did that happen?
It's fucked
Brand
me up a
name.
lot, and Caliber is spelled wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so it's like double. Every time I'm trying to put it in our like tag something in our site that's related to it,
Yeah.
extremely relatable problems.
Yes. Namco just seems like it's having a lot of, or I'm sorry, Bandai Namco seems like they are having a lot of fun with their fighting games and their guest characters in particular.
I'm
From Tekken to this.
Yeah.
I hear that game is going to have a really, what I've heard is a really involved kind of single player campaign, which I'm actually haven't played a fighting game in a long time.
Soul
I might-
Calibur?
Yeah, Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah.
Apparently it has some.
It's out. I mean,
Oh, I haven't.
just in case you were wondering.
Yeah,
came
Tomo
out.
reviewed it, and
Yeah.
I was talking to him about it, and he said, I'm actually quite surprised at how in depth and how long the
Well, the
story campaign was.
First Soul Calibur on Dreamcast had that big, long, optional kind of dungeon thing that you were always, you had a lot of handicaps, and it was really fun to try to get through those challenges. So, I mean, I guess recent games like the, what are the DC fighting Superman games?
Oh,
Infamous?
Injustice.
Injustice has pretty decent storyline stuff. So,
Yeah.
it's nice to see that kind of attention being given to a fighting game.
Yeah,
I
but-
kind of need that too.
Guest characters they're doing between Tekken and Soul Calibur. Pretty good. Rory, as you alluded to earlier,
Yes.
there are basically signs hidden in the Red Dead 2 companion app.
There's no way they weren't going to make a
Yeah.
PC version of this
Yes,
game. It's
like-
100% obvious.
I see so many people going like, the first one never came to PC. They said it was a big mess. Like this,
8 years ago.
maybe they can't make it happen. But like,
Both these consoles are basically PCs anyways.
Yeah.
And they made probably
they-
$1 billion on GTA 5 on PC
yeah, totally.
alone
Like,
by
that is
itself.
that is fucking
Not
way too
doing
much
it.
money to leave
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah.
For that to not
Not
happen.
doing it. It's
And
zero,
they ported the engine for GTA 5. So it's
zero
like,
shock for me.
There's no way that won't happen.
So anyway, that story. There's a lot of hidden code stuff that indicates. that
Yeah,
PC,
that people found,
maybe
like, some-
a VR version.
Some like
too.
variable names that mention Oculus, that mention PC in place of Orbis and Durango, which are the PS4 and
The
Xbox
only-
One names.
Forgot about
The only
Orbis.
question is like
Forgot
when.
about Durango.
I very much bet that by the end of 2019 it'll be here. I probably earlier than that. I just they definitely didn't announce it. They haven't announced it because they want people to double dip. They get an extra $60 doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they haven't announced it yet. But 0% chance it won't come to PC, and I'm happy to wait.
Let me
Personally.
see. GTA 5 came out on PC.
2 years after,
Was
or
it 2?
6 months
2
after the
years?
HD versions came out, I think.
Oh, did it not launch? I,
don't
thought it launched
I-
with the PS4.
Double check my math.
Uh,
I think it was 6 weeks or a little bit later or something like that. I think it was a little bit after, but it was the best version of the game. So I mean,
yeah, totally.
I don't mind waiting.
PC was early 2015, so I think that's like a year and a half after
The regular version.
the original 360. And
I get entirely, like I said, I get entirely why they haven't announced it yet. They want people to buy it twice. I mean, good for them.
I mean, they may have also just been super busy finishing the console
marketing
versions.
everything. Yeah, is
I mean,
stuff. So
We can't necessarily say it was just business, but I'm sure they won't mind if
yeah,
Sure.
I mean, well,
people rebuy that game.
so you said they redid the cinematics and like the black cutoff stuff towards the end of the development on that, and that's kind of, I'm sure it looks cool, but kind of.
And it gives them a chance to kind of remarket it with all the Game of the Year awards and
Yeah.
stuff that'll end up winning. And
DLC
just
that
like,
came out,
yeah.
like Red Dead Online add-on stuff as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how good that game's going to look on PC.
Hey.
Like it's already.
Come over to my house.
Oh my god! I
it
just
doesn't-
realized I'm gonna accidentally run over so many members of my posse. I'm just gonna inadvertently kill so many of my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am super excited about that online mode. I can't believe I'm saying
Yeah.
that because I don't care about GTA Online at all. But
No, I really enjoyed Red Dead 1
Yeah,
online.
yeah, there
I
were
passed
some
it up
cool
with
It was weird,
ideas.
but it was cool.
Yeah. It felt sort of half empty though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Felt like it
sure.
was very much a
It's like-
prototype.
yeah,
for
like
GTA
proof of
Online.
concepts. I feel like I remember having fun griefing people, which is
Yeah.
not something I usually do, but you could really mess people's day up.
I liked American Nightmare. It was an American Nightmare, right?
Undead
Undead.
Nightmare.
Undead
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Why do I keep on calling it American Nightmare? But
That's the Alan Wake one, right?
yeah, that's why, because we just had that on EPF. Undead Nightmare as just a reskin of the game was pretty
Yeah.
fun on its
Yeah.
own too.
That
so
is a fantastic
It was
DLC.
very fun.
I'm really curious. Have they announced a season pass or DLC for
No.
for RDR2
It
yet?
seems like it'll all be concentrated in the online
Mm.
Interesting.
from the sound of things.
I'm sure they'll make money regardless.
Yes.
Yes.
The CEO of Microsoft said in an earnings call that Game Pass is coming to PC.
Yes, that is awesome news.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of problems with the Xbox Store on PC, and I think I downloaded the Forza demo, which everybody was talking about being amazing. But their commitment to cross-platform, like putting everything out on PC, kind of it makes me never turn on my Xbox. But the Game Pass deal on PC it's not so much different than what Origin does or anything else. Like a lot of these publishers have their own kind of streaming $10 a month deals, but the Xbox library would be cool to have on PC.
Well, I think it's going to be a separate library.
Oh, really?
I mean, it would be all
Oh,
Microsoft's
oh.
first-party stuff because
Yeah.
they bring everything to
Sure.
PC
Yeah.
anyway. But I mean, they have to go out and make individual deals with those developers to get those games.
Yeah.
So
They have the clout to maybe say get some good games on there. But I mean, every publisher that comes to PC now is starting to all have their own launchers and these kind of deals and everything like that.
Yeah.
So,
like they're going to have to beef it up because
Yeah.
the lineup on the Xbox is huge. Like it's what is
Yeah.
it, like 100 games or something?
I don't know.
Anyway, they'll have to be out there making a bunch of deals to make that thing worthwhile on the
Yeah.
PC.
I mean, if it's $10 a month for a lot of really good games, I think it'll be a really good deal for a lot of people. The only thing about, I mean, even with Xbox, the problem is if you have a bandwidth cap on your thing, it's really tough to get that 90 gig RDR2. Luckily, Sonic doesn't have bandwidth cap, so I'm in the market, but a lot of people still do, which is the tough thing about a lot of these kind of game subscription. Download 2 games a month, and then half your bandwidth cap is gone.
You can just add them to your account, right? You
I've-
don't necessarily have to download them.
Oh no,
there.
yeah, I don't think you would have to, but that's just kind of one of the big things about American internet. It's fantastic.
Go back to the days of downloading everything at the office and taking it home with you.
Yeah, jeez.
That's super fun.
Go to Starbucks with your PC.
Don't mind me.
Sorry, this monitor's so big.
That's that monitor would even fit through the door at Starbucks.
People love it when I talk about this monitor. I've heard that from multiple people.
Sounds like
Well, you got a new monitor?
sounds like a great monitor. Maybe I'll come over and see it sometime.
Maybe I'll bring it in for Extra Life. How about
I've
that?
seen it, Brad.
Yeah.
I've been in the same room, and
Is it
it's
Is it
intimidating.
worth the
Is
trip?
it?
It's one of those.
35 inches,
Whoa.
21 by 9, 120 hertz.
Okay.
I walked. I've told this before, but I walked in and there was a very small child playing Doom. on
Yes,
it.
yes. It was Lucien and Julian, my fiance's cousins' kids, who are basically both hopped up on ADHD. That's
That's not something you get hopped up on. It's like, I'm gonna inject an ADHD straight into the vein, baby.
They get really excited about stuff, and I just went to their mom and just like, oh, they want to play Doom. It's kind of violent. It's probably not for kids. And it's like, whatever, as long as they.
Which Doom are we talking?
Doom 2016.
2016.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
And I
Okay,
didn't have
sure.
It was they appreciate.
What Doom?
You can fit so many cyber demons on a 16 by no, sorry, not 16 by 9.
21 by 9.
21 by 9.
all right, Ben.
I'm done now.
What's up?
What's up with the Grinch?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Namco Bandai being happy with their rosters,
Yeah.
I
Speaking
guess.
of guest characters, I guess.
Yeah, so this was kind of something that I stumbled upon while I was online, and
Online.
it's a massive potential leak for the final Smash roster.
This is the art thing, right?
Yeah, this is the first one. There's been whenever there's a new Smash game, everyone's all juiced up on leaks, kind of hearing the roster or whatever it is.
I
More
thought
than any other fighting game, I feel like, because
I think-
people got...
Maxed out at 64. That was the whole thing.
No, I
right?
think wasn't 64 the original
So
one?
yeah, 64 is everyone's here.
Okay.
That's everyone who's been in any Smash game is coming back. They knew that, and then they've since announced a few new characters: Simon Belmont, some others. But basically, this was so. What happened was somebody posted to Snapchat a screenshot of a looks like box art.
Yeah, the spine.
Kind of here is a spine of a box for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This person's Snapchat was eventually linked to a LinkedIn where that person worked at a printing company in France that also did a bunch of stuff for Namco Bandai, who is taking development lead on Smash Ultimate.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They worked on 4 as well.
Yeah.
That's a roundabout way of leaking something.
With like the caption, like fucking Nintendo or something in Belgian slang, I believe. And
So we should say no verification as yet
Yes,
that this
so
is legit, but
this has not been completely verified or even a little bit verified yet.
It all sounds like pretty likely to be confirmed at some point, though, right?
So here's the list of characters that will be added, presumably. Shadow the Hedgehog.
yeah.
Ken from Street Fighter.
All right.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay.
Gino from Super Mario RPG.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Isaac from Golden Sun. Mock Rider from Mock Rider.
What?
The NES game Mock Rider. Cosmos from Xenoblade. And the Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven. So it's fucking all over the place there.
Wow.
And this, along with some other leaks, like there was a poorly photoshopped Little Mac that looked like Isaac at one point. I went down a fucking rabbit hole.
You mentioned the Grinch, though. Is the Grinch?
So they're calling it the Grinch leak because it's kind of spoiling. It's taking the fun away.
I thought you
from
meant the Grinch would be
no,
in
I
this.
thought it was because the printing company were doing something for the new Grinch
Yeah,
movie.
I think that's
Okay.
right.
And when they tracked it down, there was
Oh,
pictures of the
okay.
Grinch in the background.
That
and
would
helped.
also make
Okay.
sense. I only ever saw people talking about it in the context of like it ruining. But yeah, I see here. This profile pointed towards a career producing promotional materials, sometimes work for video games, and sometimes for the new Grinch movie.
Also,
I didn't even know they were making.
yeah,
a new
yeah.
Grinch
There's a new
movie.
Grinch movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's going to be DreamWorks, I think. or something.
animated.
Okay.
or
LinkedIn, man.
CG.
How many things, video game wise, you think have been leaked by people
You make
inappropriately?
video games. You got to work with all these external companies,
believe-
and some of their employees just maybe don't give a fuck.
I believe RDR2 also had somebody list a PC version on LinkedIn too as well at some
Oh,
point
yeah.
recently. So
I think you might be right.
confirmation 100%.
It's
Okay.
also worth noting somebody tangential to the leak, not the leaker themselves, predicted that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct on November 1st. And just before this podcast, they announced that there is a
Yeah.
Really?
Direct coming November 1st.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What day is that? Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday at like
Yes.
7 a.m. Pacific.
Yes.
Somebody will be streaming
bright and
extra for
early.
us, but we'll.
Yeah, I actually really like how they've been doing the character release trailers. They've been pretty cool lately. I think that the King K. Rool one was particularly good.
Yo, is Shadow the Hedgehog gonna have a gun?
I fucking hope so.
Is he gonna have a gun?
He's gonna have a gun and a motorcycle.
Man.
He's gonna be like Wario, but with a gun.
Wow.
When is this game supposed to come out?
December
December 7th? Is it 7th? Okay.
I think so.
I mean, to me, the Banjo-Kazooie seems like the craziest one here just because they're owned by Microsoft.
well, so
They have that good relationship
but
now.
they do.
They've
do.
been on Twitter
that
recently, Phil
tweet,
Spencer.
Phil Spencer tweet
Like
is
and
amazing.
tweets.
yeah.
And actually, somebody, I think it was back in like March or something, somebody tweeted at Phil Spencer just going like, yo, would you ever let Banjo-Kazooie be in Smash? And he just responded, yep. So I guess they're fine with it.
And a lot of these characters are just ones that they ran a poll for Smash 4. It was like, if you could have anyone in Smash, who would you put in? And anyone could submit anything. And a lot of these are like Gino, a lot of these more obscure ones, Isaac from Golden Sun, Banjo was on there, Shadow was on there. Like these are straight lifted off of that, but then also some, left field ones like Mock Rider and the
I've
kids from
never
Rhythm Head.
heard Mock Rider before, a game or character.
NES game. But then I was kind of talking to Brad and thinking about what this means for Smash Ultimate, and I feel like if they're leaning into everyone's here, this is like kind of the big fan servicey Smash. This is them just, all right, fucking, if you've ever liked a Smash, come check out this Smash, and it almost seems like they're trying to build it as a sort of Smash as a service
You might
vehicle.
call it the final Smash.
I I could call it the final. I could see myself potentially calling it the final Smash.
Okay.
And it just kind of shows that they're, the DLC did very well for them. The Bayonetta and Cloud and all them for Smash 4, I believe they reported being happy with those sales. So if they're just gonna have this platform that they can eventually add all these weird characters, like if they're showing right out the gate how obscure they can go with some of these Xenoblade or Xenochronicles characters, I think it shows that they're willing to go pretty far out there with characters.
Do you think this thing turns into just like a DLC farm? Like, are they going to put out like years worth of? Because I mean, how many fucking characters are going to be in this by the time it launches? Like 80?
Yeah, if this leak is to be true, believed, I think it's 70.
Because didn't everyone want Waluigi to be 69?
Yes.
Man, fucking Smash fandom. Yeah, that's
yeah. I could see them. I could see them using this as like a sort of ecosystem for a while to come.
Especially now that they have a platform out there that people actually like now.
Yeah, it depends on how long they want to support Switch.
Yeah. Is this the first Street Fighter character in it?
Ryu was in a DLC character for 4.
Okay.
And he played it was really cool. He could input the moves. Like he had, just like hold left and B for a Hadouken, but if you did quarter circle B, it did more damage.
Huh. That's cool.
So, hopefully Ken gets a similar treatment.
I'm happy for people who are looking forward to Smash.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if this is the roster. I'm excited to see how these characters are introduced. If it's not, I'm excited to be surprised.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, that is the headlines for the week. We're going to take one more quick break and then come back and read the emails.
If you're a DC fan, then you've got to check out Titans.
Whoa.
It's the latest live-action series.
They sound big.
Yeah, Titans. They sound titanic.
Wow.
And Titans is available now on DC Universe.
Ooh.
It premiered on October 12th. New episodes are available for streaming every single Friday through the end of this year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Titans is the first original series to launch on DC Universe, and it follows a group of young, soon-to-be superheroes, including one Dick Grayson.
What is a pre-superhero?
It's like a superhero in training.
Not quite super.
Yeah.
Kind of
like
an okay hero?
Yeah, like an okay hero.
Okay.
I don't know. Dick Grayson here is moonlighting as the dangerous vigilante Robin.
Whoa.
Now independent of his longtime partnership with Batman.
Huh. Robin's off the reservation.
That's right. Robin's off doing his own thing, along with Rachel Roth, a.k.a. Raven.
Whoa.
The mysterious Corey Anders, a.k.a. Starfire. And the lovable Gar Logan as the mischievous Beast Boy.
Whoa.
As they get caught up in a conspiracy that could bring hell on Earth. They become not only a surrogate family, but a fearless band of new young heroes.
Hell on Earth, huh?
Yeah. That's you probably don't want a conspiracy that brings about hell on Earth.
No, probably not.
And if you're in a position to stop it, I would say maybe stop it.
Yeah. Ritual sacrifice, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
not
right,
a good idea.
That's right out. That's right out.
Not a good idea.
Check out this gritty take on the classic Teen Titans franchise from executive producers Akiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, Greg Berlanti, Greg Walker,
the Gregs.
Sarah Schechter, and John Fawcett. Titans is available only on DC Universe on all your favorite devices. Join the ultimate DC membership at DCUniverse.com for only $7.99 a month, or get 20% off an annual membership. That's DCUniverse.com.
I have here a collection of emails that were sent to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Let's read them now.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to go. Stefan from State College. He doesn't say which one.
Go State.
Yeah, that's right. I love
the fighting capital.
State University, my favorite. I need some financial advice, so I'm going to the source.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously,
yeah.
experts.
Great.
Let me talk.
Taco Bell recently had a promotion where 5,000 people win special edition Xbox One X's that make the Taco Bell bong sound when booted. I was so excited to...
The words Taco Bell and bong go together so well, just in general.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what they officially call it. They know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Very, very, very on brand. I was so excited to receive and play with my new console until a friend recommended I check the going price on eBay as it is limited edition. This person never actually says in this email that they won the Xbox, but
I
think he-
we're gonna
I
assume
he
they
did. I don't know if he mentions that he opened it up or not. Was the other big thing. That thing is very expensive. Though.
yes. The bids are starting at $800 with a buy it now price of $1,500 at the lowest.
Sell it.
I am a broke college student,
Sell
but
it.
also an avid gamer. Should I relish my fortune and keep the console?
Keep it.
Should I sell the console immediately and buy a separate Xbox One X and Elite controller?
Yes.
Is the X enough of an improvement over the original Xbox I already own? Should I hoard the console away and hope it's worth more in the future?
If it's unopened, I would put it away for a little bit and let the
Yeah.
initial kind of thing
Even,
die
I
down.
feel like even if you're going to sell it, maybe let it appreciate.
Wait, hang on. Is he saying he already has an Xbox One?
Yes.
Yes. So
So I would say don't get an X unless you have a
Yeah.
4K TV.
Yeah. And even then, maybe, but
Definitely get that Elite controller though if you're gonna
Yeah.
sell it.
Oh, get the all access thing where you can pay. It's like a
Oh, the-
subscription
the-
thing,
yeah,
and
the,
you can
like
get
the
a console, Game Pass,
kind
and
of-
Oh
live.
yeah.
the leasing option kind of thing,
Yeah.
payment plan sort of thing. Yeah,
what-
you could do that.
I've been thinking about trading in my Xbox One and a PS4 for a PS4 Pro, and GameStop has, because obviously GameStop is like the biggest name in trade-ins. They have different
That's
lists,
their tagline.
yeah, different listings for like unique consoles. I'm really curious what they would give you for a Taco Bell.
There's
one.
all kinds of weird trade-in deals going on.
Yeah,
right now. I
there
see
are.
A ton of people went out and got X's for Red Dead.
What about the do you remember was it the 20th anniversary PS4,
Yeah.
the grey one? Like,
Yeah.
did that hold its value?
I
I remember for a while everyone.
Yeah, those things were going for like $3,000-$4,000. I
Yeah.
think when they.
How limited was that? Because 5,000 is a very small number.
It was
It was-
more. I think it was like 12,000 or something.
Yeah.
It was not that many. Let me see.
And the fact that you can't like to get this, you have to buy like a chalupa, right, or something. And I don't want to put a chalupa in my body. So
It's like an amazingly tasteful item to come out of a Taco Bell promotion. Like,
Yeah.
They resist the urge to put any dumbass logos on it. Like it's got that nice
Taco
like.
Bell respects gaming.
Okay, yes. Game does respect game. That's fair. It's got that nice gradient on it, and like it looks cool. But
I don't know enough about limited edition consoles to know like if this will appreciate significantly.
I mean, that bong is a classic, timeless sound.
It's true.
$1,500 in the pocket right now
yeah,
might be worth
especially if
more
you're a broke
than-
college student,
Yeah.
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You ever win a console before?
No.
I won a Sega Saturn when it was $400. I
Nice.
sent in a postcard to a Fox Kids after school cartoon thing, and literally it cost $400 when that thing came out. It was a ridiculous amount of pay. I didn't pay it because I won a Saturn, but for my point, this is before eBay. You can't really sell that shit, but I had a great time with that Saturn, especially because it was free.
Yeah,
so he might get
totally.
a lot of enjoyment out of it. But the thing is, if he already has an Xbox One,
Yeah, it's tough to.
tough to say. if the other-
The 20th anniversary PS4 looks like going for $1,700 on eBay right now. So
pretty good.
It'll pay off.
definitely,
We'll pay off a couple hours of college.
definitely held some value. So maybe hang on to that thing for a little bit, see what happens.
Reinvest it in Taco Bell.
There you go.
Yeah.
More Taco Bell.
Yeah. Taco Bell only appreciates it. You get a bean and cheese burrito, you let that sit overnight, it's better.
I still haven't had one.
You'll let it
We
age a
don't
little
have
bit.
Taco Bell in the UK. I've been holding off because I keep hearing such great things.
You should go to the really nice one in Pacifica.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 World's
Ooh.
nicest
It's
Taco
by the
Bell.
We'll all go for
Cantina.
lunch one
The
day. They serve
cantina.
alcohol.
Oh
That's what yeah.
Not that we would ever drink during company hour.
no,
What?
of course
Never.
On video on Fridays.
that doesn't count. Rodney writes in, quick question for the Bombcast. When you come home from a long day and are hungry but too lazy to make something, what are the top 3 things you shamelessly eat while standing in front of an open fridge with no utensils or plate?
Feels like we just answered this question.
Deli meat, loose peanut butter by the spoonful?
Deli meat's a good one.
Yeah.
Cold pizza. Very
In
good.
front of the fridge?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
That doesn't count. That's like leftovers. This is shit that's just going to always be in your fridge.
Macaroni salad is very good.
With your
Especially
hands?
What's that?
With your hands?
Not with my
He
hands.
he
no.
said no utensils.
No
Oh,
utensils.
well, in that case.
Like, how desperate are you for your...
Very few things.
You
that I
take
eat.
a sliced deli meat and wrap it around a string cheese.
Okay.
Fuck no.
Now
that's-
you're- now
oh,
you're-
are you a chomper on the string cheese? You do peel it.
I'm
I have-
normally a peeler,
Okay.
but like
you can eat the.
I can
chomper?
chomp. If,
I fully became a convert to the chomp. I can't believe I'm admitting this, but it's...
As a progenitor of the chomp lifestyle, I think you've betrayed me and
You're an expert.
everything I stand for.
Yeah.
Hummus. Hummus is
Hummus?
good for this.
Hummus.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Hummus
with your finger
and-
or like a naan?
Hummus. No, you can get like just a bit of bread.
Yeah.
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 It's not bad.
like
Hummus is really good.
You
oat
take
cake
some
or
bread, you
something.
put it in the toaster, and then you put a little garlic powder on.
This is you're already betraying the
Yeah,
spirit
yeah,
of this
yeah,
question.
I know,
This
I
is
know.
Yeah,
like
this is
standing in
kind
front
of gourmet.
It's it's the way I do it.
We mentioned a couple.
Pickles.
That-
Nutella.
okay, sure. Yes, now we're getting there.
Nutella, but you need a spoon.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
You don't
oh,
need a
you-
spoon.
Yeah, not the way I do
You
it.
don't always need a
I'll
spoon.
stop saying that.
Cold rice.
Okay.
Just plain
By
rice.
itself?
Yeah.
Sometimes when,
Huh.
you know,
Okay.
you're desperate.
Sticky rice.
No, just crunchy old rice.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
God,
Ooh.
no.
You got to fry that up, man.
Yeah, but that involves cooking.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes. I know I said a couple weeks ago, and it's not possible anymore, but a handful of Bacos right out of the fridge. It's just,
When I was a kid,
that's living.
you could get like a fajita, just like the bread, and I would put golden syrup on it.
Okay.
Golden syrup?
Yeah. Do you not have that here?
Mm-mm.
It's like
We know HP sauce. That's about the extent of our.
I don't even
Alright.
know
British
it's
We're very
sauce.
fancy.
it's basically it's just sugar.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
Oh.
it's kind of like treacle, but treacle's a bit.
Don't know what that is either.
I've always heard it triacle, but I think I just never heard it pronounced before. Triacle.
That's a Pokemon.
Simple
Yeah.
syrup is what I mostly
Yeah.
my
Okay.
sugar
Like
sugar
a-
ingestion.
It's like a maple syrup, but just a lot sweeter.
You ever
Just sugar.
when a kid just eat sugar cubes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Sugar sandwich.
No. I did salt though, so I
What?
Yeah. Pure salt right in my mouth.
I was really hungry one day, and there was salt packets there and ketchup packets,
Why not?
nothing else.
Damn it.
Literally nothing else.
Ever
in the house.
those cheese packets of Parmesan cheese you get from pizza places?
Oh hell yeah!
All right. I thought you were gonna shame me for a
No
second.
way.
Okay. Cool.
You ever make a condiment sandwich?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we ended up talking about Arby's yesterday, but it reminded me that I used to save up Arby's sauce packets and just make an Arby's sauce sandwich.
The best sandwich ever is still the toast crunch, like a cinnamon
yeah.
toast. Like you slather butter all over the bread, you toast it, butter it, and then just sugar and cinnamon, and that is
Oh, you mean cinnamon toast?
cinnamon toast. Yeah, it's the best. But you
Oh.
don't make a sandwich out of it. Sometimes I did it for
I
myself.
thought you meant the toast sandwich where you would toast one bit of bread and put it in between two regular
Oh
pieces.
no!
of bread.
God!
Wow.
Wow!
So
Or
that's what-
toast two and put one. I like that
Yeah.
style because I like this crunchy outside and the soft
Huh.
inside.
Huh?
It's like a
I'm-
dumpling.
Yeah. When I was a student.
Yeah, I
and
got that
now
at
I can't.
Din Tai Fung.
Din Tai Fung.
There you go.
Oh.
Question from Nathan. Hi, Bomb. What is the scariest movie you have ever seen?
I was trying to think about that when I heard this email, and it's really tough to come up with. I would say I think Blair Witch Project when I saw it the first time, and a theater in the dark when nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty. I know a lot of people hate that movie for like, oh, there's no monsters, no special effects. Like, at the time it was pretty chilling.
I know someone who knows those guys.
Yeah.
And claims that after they shot the movie, they took the cameras back to Best Buy and returned them.
That was selling plasma.
Um,
Paranormal Activity 2 in the theater was pretty good too. But those movies, all those like creepy, long, silent kind of horror movies, you rely on the not having an idiot who's going to laugh at everything to break the tension for the entire theater.
Yes.
So, which I was reviewing movies for Screened. I would go to like the midnight showings because we didn't get press passes for anything. And all it takes is one fucking dumbass to ruin a horror movie screening, which people talked a lot of stuff about Hereditary. That was a good creepy movie. I wouldn't say it was necessary. It was a lot of dread in it, but I wouldn't say the scary parts were super scary, but a good, decent one.
Yeah. Y'all got anything else?
Hell House LLC, I recommend. If
Yeah?
you got Amazon Prime.
Huh.
It's like on streaming. It's
Okay.
about a couple folks that run a haunted house. They decide to take an actual haunted house and run a haunted house out of it.
Okay.
Found footage style. Traumatized a friend of mine. Still can't sleep.
Wow.
Watched it last
Wow.
year.
Jeez.
Still sticks with her.
Man, that's rough. I will say that The Descent fucked me up real bad.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that just
that's-
really hits the intersection of
Yeah,
claustrophobia
no.
and like awful things lurking in the darkness about to kill you.
Yeah, it became a little bit too much of like a monster movie, but
A little
the build
bit.
up to it of like getting lost in a cave is like that
Yeah.
is kind of nightmarish.
Especially with the original ending. I don't know which one you saw.
I'm not
Like
sure.
they reshot a happy ending for the US release.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
But the original ending is extremely grim.
Oh, the Spanish version of Wreck is
Yeah.
also good.
Oh, that-
There's
Or
only
record.
a Spanish version, right?
They
I think they
there's
remade it.
there's an
Did they?
American
Yeah.
version
Oh.
that's not as good.
Yeah,
Did you
Span-
see-
yeah, that's a creepy one.
It Comes at Night freaked me out. So I don't typically get scared by horror movies because I'm really big into true crime.
Mhm.
So you read about what people actually do, and it's like
Yeah.
the movie doesn't really compare. But It Comes at Night messed me up. I had an anxiety attack at the end of it. As in, I came out of the cinema and I had the palpitations and everything.
There's a film adaptation of The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, I think, wrote it, called The Innocents. It's from the 50s. It's very black and white, and there's two ghosts like haunting this nanny and two kids, and it's very atmospheric how they show these figures that are in the background. They're never very explicit about it, but there's one scene in particular where this lady ghost, and the whole point of the story is you don't know if the nanny is crazy or not, if the kids are actually haunted or the whole place is haunted. But they show this lady across a lake just standing on top of the water, black and white, black dress, just like this horrifying figure in the fog, like not supposed to be there at all. It's one of the most terrifying, like chilling scenes I can ever recall. So, oldie but a goodie, if you're looking for something a little bit more. But Filmstruck is shutting down the Criterion Collection movie streaming thing, which I always kind of wanted to sign up for old like samurai movies, but I never got around to it.
Maybe if you had, they wouldn't be shutting
I know. I think AT&T bought Time Warner, and then like anything that's not making like $1 billion profit a year is like, it's probably not worth our time.
Yeah.
So I blame AT&T more than myself, which is pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Email from Roger. How is it that IO considered Sean Bean as the quote undying elusive target? I mean, he was the one that was ambushed by Robert De Niro with a fucking cup of coffee in Ronin.
Great movie.
If anything,
Fantastic movie.
they should bring in Jean Reno as an elusive target.
Also in Ronin.
He was the professional.
Somebody just saw Ronin and is thinking about that movie very much because Jean Reno's in it too.
It's perfect because Sean Bean dies in everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
kind of his
joke.
thing, right?
That's the joke.
That is, yeah.
I mean,
Who would you want to see in a Hitman game? Like as a left field?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You have to want to be able to kill
Werner
him.
Herzog.
You have to. There has
I
to be
want to
okay
trail
with being
him and hear him
killed.
just muttering to himself about how nature is
Uwe
an
Boll.
enemy.
Oh man, that'd be too on the nose. It have to be somebody that you kind of. They've been getting pretty decently big names, but somebody with a sense of humor about being killed in a video game.
I really don't know how you.
Elon.
Elon Musk.
Elon
Oh,
would
man.
do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I know, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but he would. though.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. I think you get into a lot of like the reality star kind of like Kim Kardashian's in Hitman 2, and then
I
you
just
put off by the whole
I
thing.
don't know how you follow up Gary Busey. I
Yeah.
mean, it's nearly impossible.
Sir Laurence Olivier starring in Hitman 2. Get the rights to something like hologram Tupac. You got to kill the hologram of Tupac.
Just unplug it. Kill the people who think the hologram is a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing Amy Winehouse now.
Are they?
Yeah.
There's some tours going on. I think who's going on tour next year? Just a hologram. Like, man, I don't know. I think
Hatsune Miku.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Estate of deceased star exploiting star's memory is such a bummer.
Did you guys see that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, like, I had some fucking credit card commercial came on the other day with "Let's Go Crazy" playing, and I was just like, I put my head in my hands, man. Like Prince is spinning in his fucking grave that somebody is using his
Did
songs.
you see that Jet Li interview about why he hasn't done
Yeah.
movies?
Yeah.
like got
That, like,
horrible
speaks
disease
on-
or something.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Jet
not-
Li's really he has some like degenerative
well,
thing.
that's a
Yeah.
recent thing, but like the reason he got out of movies
Oh, yeah,
in the
The
first
Matrix,
place
yeah.
was
Yeah.
like not that he didn't want them to basically own and capture his moves.
No,
so
he
they
said
could
he
use
didn't
it.
want to do the Matrix because they were going to digitize all of his shit if they
Yeah.
wanted to make more Matrix.
he thought.
movies.
Yeah.
He thought they would end up owning all of his martial arts.
I don't
forever.
think you can copyright like movement.
Oh, you'd be surprised what you
Yeah.
can get away with if you have $1 trillion and the team of lawyers.
Yeah.
Well, really esoteric kind of thing, but I was reading this article about early ballet and how if you didn't have like the dance person there, you couldn't really do a ballet from another country because there's no video or there's no way to notate dance. So in the early days, that's why, ballet russes? How do you say the Russian ballet?
Ballerinas.
They just traveled around the world because you can't fucking copy it. Because how are you going to take it back in your head and like, you do this thing twirly? Sorry, boring story. I owe you all a quarter. And all of you get
Wait,
nothing.
what is that? What rule is that?
It's boring story. I owe you a quarter. It's from Kicking and Screaming, the first Noah Baumbach movie.
Okay.
So there you go. That's a good movie too. Watch
All
it.
That is a good movie too.
Okay.
Like it as well.
Chris from Sturbridge. My wife always makes fun of me because I get into what she started referring to as my enhanced gaming position. When the going gets rough and I've lost my lead or encountered a rather challenging part of the game, I can't be in lounge mode. I sit up, both feet planted, elbows on the knees,
Lean forward.
and a firm grip on the controller. For whatever reason, I can't game well if I'm reclining or lying down. Do you have an enhanced gaming position? Are there certain games or genres that bring it out more often than not? Curious to hear your thoughts and to prove to my wife that my actions are actually
I
somewhat
played
normal.
Smash for the first time with my friends in a few months this weekend, and I sat back for a while because like my hands were hurting or whatever, and was just watching them play. And sure enough, whenever shit got serious, it was the lean forward.
Yeah.
It was just fully lean forward, like you said, feet planted on the ground, like hunched up.
Yep, elbows on the knees.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
I
have a
do
feeling-
exactly that.
There's some like evolutionary advantage having more blood flow to your brain. So I bet that probably like starts the blood circulating again. You're having more.
I don't know.
activity
For
in
me, I think it's just trying to get closer to the TV.
it. Yeah, maybe.
Really?
That might
I
make,
actually-
make more sense than what I was
I'd
saying.
actually do it like in the middle of Destiny, like single player stuff. I'm slumping on the couch, and as
Yeah.
soon as I get into multiplayer, I'm like leaning as close as I can to get headshots
Yeah.
and stuff.
When we play Overwatch, we always play like a 2-hour session, and throughout the session, I will gradually get more horizontal, and that's what we refer to it as. It's like because my breathing will be weird on the mic, and someone will just go, "Lucy, how horizontal are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm about 80 degrees."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Not quite at the 90 degree.
You need to mount
Yeah.
the TV above the bed and just have maximum relaxation.
The thing is, like, I have a long neck anyway, so it's like a periscope, so it's fine.
They make literal lay down in bed and still see the TV like reflective. They have mirrors in them.
Hell
It's like
yeah.
a periscope. a
Hell
literal
yeah.
periscope.
That
I-
could solve a problem in the studio.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Can
Get
they
some
do
one of
that
those
from my
beanbags.
room, down the hall, around the corner, and then into the living room? So I can just do it from my bed.
Goldberg, man.
I have
Yeah.
also seen little arm mounts for the Switch being marketed. That you like put it on the
Yes,
headboard of the bed and
yes,
just have the
yes.
little arm with the Switch over your face.
Oh.
Trust 21st century society to enable our laziness as much as possible. We're all gonna wind up in Wall-E at some point.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be Wally.
Well, better than that Mac girl.
Question from Matt.
Hey,
How will Claptrap become even worse in Borderlands 3?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
gonna dab.
My first thought is when the game gets a reveal trailer, he will pop in and start flossing, but it may be too old hat by that time.
Oh no, it won't be for Gearbox.
Yeah.
man, Claptrap, like the very first like half hour of Borderlands 1 was it's kind of funny. He's
Yeah.
kind of funny, and then wow, run it into the
They're
ground.
gonna get Elon Musk to voice him.
Ugh.
No.
I think Borderlands 2 was still a pretty fun game from front to back, even if you didn't particularly care for the sense of humor. They do have a tendency to overdo things. I really liked. I know Tiny Tina was disruptive to a lot of people. I liked her.
Literal worst video game character
I liked her.
I've ever
It's
encountered.
weird because I'm with you, but her DLC is super cool.
Yeah,
It's weird
that's just
because the
it's
character is
like a cool world.
Yeah.
I
it
don't
was
even think I played it. I just found it too
Borderlands
abrasive.
2? Or
I
the
played a
DLC?
bunch of Borderlands 2. I didn't play the DLC.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3, they do shooting really well in those games, but after like Destiny 2, which Destiny 2 has some real fucking bad humor too, like that failsafe AI that you keep on
Yeah.
talking. Just terrible.
That character
Just-
would work so much better if they just got rid of the second persona.
Yeah.
And focused on the
man.
the naive, happy-go-lucky computer AI.
I like games that are funny when I like the humor, and humor is the most divisive. Like Portal 2 is one of my favorite games because it's so fucking funny. And if you don't get the humor or don't like the humor, then it just it really has a knockover effect on the rest of the game entirely.
Did you guys see the thing about that Stanley Parable achievement?
Yes.
Yeah.
5 years later.
That's good stuff. Eric writes in, I found this flyer at my local community center and am baffled. I defer to whatever light you can shed on this mysterious subject. I will read part of this. I will also post the image in the show notes because obviously this doesn't play on an audio show. It is a grim-looking, almost monochromatic poster that says, have you heard your child use these words? Ghost, fiend, skins, zero, lights out. Did you know these are all associated with vapes and Juul?
It's true.
Learn more about this alarming trend affecting our youth, Tuesday, October 23rd.
It's actually the Julian epidemic is actually catastrophic.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's Jules, the ones that look like
Yeah.
USB sticks, and people take them to school.
Like there's 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds everywhere.
really?
Shit, Julian.
Is it actually that
so
crazy?
easy to
They're
get and so easy to
double nicotine,
hide.
too.
But it's double nicotine.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
Wait, what is this?
It's vaping.
It's a vape pen. It's kind of like those
the
old
Juuls are the ones that look like kind of a
I
stick
guess,
of
so,
gum.
it's this? I guess I've never seen one before. It does. It straight up looks like a little USB
Yeah.
drive.
USB stick, and the reason to hide, and people take it when the teacher runs out of the classroom, they start vaping and everything like that. And they're
Jeez,
really, They sell it as a smoking cessation device.
I thought this was just another classic moral panic, but it actually sounds like it's kind of bad.
They're easy to find. They sell them in
Yeah.
every head shop or every smoke shop.
They're trying like the FDA. I don't know if it's FDA or the Surgeon General or whoever is trying to
ATF.
really start rolling back on them.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they sell them. It's kind of the classic, like Philip Morris with the camel mascot.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
They appeal to kids, and then they'll try to roll it back a little bit. A friend of mine who's a decent smoker has a Juul, and he hasn't smoked at all in like 2 months. So it does work in that sense of like getting out. They're better for you than cigarettes, but they're probably not great to have as a 9-year-old.
It's more addictive because it's just easier to hit. And like,
Maybe
they last for a long
8-year-olds
time.
8-year-olds should not be getting mass quantities of nicotine.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what ghost or fiend means in this context? Or
Fiending-
skins?
I mean, I'm assuming fiending is like,
yeah, I guess that one makes sense.
but I haven't lights out.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Zero?
battery's dead.
0 ohms, perhaps? I don't know.
Zero
They-
juice left.
They had a big, advertising platform here about flavored nicotine not too long ago and vape juice and everything like that about how your kids are getting, all the. It sounds like weird Tom and Jerry's. Who makes ice cream?
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. Good. Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It all sounds really fun and flavorful, but it is like weird vape juice. There is a hint of moral panic to it, but it's bad. It's not good to do.
There's a vape convention in London.
Yeah. Well, London, all of Europe has really pretty. Wherever I went, had really strict like cigarette. Like no, it's all black packages. It looks like it'll make you go blind.
Really?
They're all locked behind like cabinets and everything.
Oh, don't some of them have like pictures on them
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Australia too. A lot of these places do. So America's still like the most like libertine in terms of letting people have.
Because we're free.
Yeah.
But that's just like actual cigarettes. For vape, anything goes.
Yeah.
They don't care.
So it's all. I don't know. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good thing. But hey, we need less people in the world. So.
Oh my God.
All right. Line of-
Email.
That sounds like a shitty thing to say. I guess
Rory's line in the sand.
there's a reference to
The
there's
Office.
there's an old this is one of the things about every time somebody brings up Malcolm Gladwell as a positive influence. Malcolm Gladwell used to be he used to get paid by Philip Morris to not so subtly reinforce the tobacco industry's kind of biases. This is a story I heard that he was kind of what do you call it? Not a lobbyist, but he was a columnist for the Washington Post. And at one point, he wrote an article about how if you spend more money on making people stop smoking, eventually Social Security will go bankrupt because people will live longer, which is the most fucked up thing to say. Ever. Like, you don't want people living too long because Social Security will go bankrupt. And that's all I can think of every time I think of Malcolm.
It's all actuarial tables, man.
Yeah, well.
It's all just numbers
Oh, man.
on a balance sheet.
Yeah. We've talked on UPF4. I don't have high hopes for
This guy's got some interesting ideas about the direction
Yeah,
of
it's funny.
society.
You were like, oh, let's not talk about politics on today's show before it started.
That's not so much of a political thing as it is a science education thing.
More social engineering.
I'm just going to log off the internet. after
Okay.
this one.
You know what? I debated reading this email, but since you said that, I guess I should now. This is Syed from Pakistan. Was there ever a time where you witnessed, read, or saw something which made you say, okay, that's enough internet for 1 week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't ask what it is, so I'm just going to say let's move on. I guess follow-up question, what do you guys do that's offline or disconnected? What is this offline thing?
I read a shitload, way more than I used to before. And it sounds weird to say the Kindle has made me go offline, but I read just a shitload of books now. I always have. I was an English major, but there's a time when I, especially was, the internet kind of ramped up and everything is online. But the Kindle oddly enough, the Kindle is wrapping me around to like real physical books again. So I usually most days spend an hour or two reading before bed. So that's the one thing I do to kind of de-onlineize. Okay. My new word.
It's important to de-onlineize
That's my big thing.
occasionally.
And biking for not for sport, but
Yeah,
just for
he says I learned how to sail one summer as an example. It was amazing. I highly
fun
recommend it.
and expensive. But
Yeah.
yes.
I cook a lot. I've been cooking a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've
Come
been
over
trying
to my
to get into
house
cooking a little more too.
Yeah, sure. I walked down to the little farmer's market there at Fruitvale.
Have you ever tried that barbecue there?
Yeah,
Oh, is it good?
it's all right.
Looks expensive.
It is kind of expensive.
We
How much
were bequeathed a sous vide machine recently.
Hey,
Ooh.
dude,
we have
let's start talking.
Have not cracked into yet.
Chicken breasts are amazing. That's
Yeah.
definitely the best thing you can
We've been doing
Eggs.
chicken breast
Yes,
in the
eggs.
pressure cooker, but
Eggs, really? Scrambled?
Yeah.
Or?
Soft-boiled eggs.
I gotta
Ooh.
try this out.
Yeah.
that sounds
Oh,
alright.
you mean like the ramen eggs?
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
ramen.
Ramen eggs are
Oh,
fan.
that's
Yeah,
good.
hey buddy.
huh. Okay.
Let's start a little. We'll start a little Slack
Okay.
conversation.
Yes.
This later on. We've been doing pressure cooking a little bit
Yeah,
here and there.
we are way into that too.
But offline, I mean, yeah.
Lucy?
A couple years ago, I took up like crafting stuff.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
did a bunch of cross stitch, and then I found that crochet was a lot better because genuinely all you can concentrate on is counting.
Yeah.
So you just immediately sort of de-stress, and then you get the nice. You actually get the feeling that you've accomplished
Yeah.
and made
You've
something.
made
at
something,
the
yeah,
end.
that's
And
cool.
it all kind of it was because my friend was pregnant and my sister was pregnant,
Yeah.
due within the same month.
You're making little blankets.
So I was making little things just for them, and then moved, and I just kind of stopped doing it. I did bring it to America
Yeah.
with me because I, spent all that bloody money on.
Knitting always seems like a really zen kind of thing to do. I see
Yeah.
people doing that on BART sometimes, or like watching TV, or like sometimes you'll see like you'll walk into I don't walk into coffee shops, but places like that, and you see a bunch of people just standing around chatting and knitting.
That's me with the Soul Calibur character customization. I just zone out. It's true. Like I
How
was just,
big can this dick get?
I was talking about Candyland on Twitter, and then I was like, I'm gonna make one of the characters from Candyland on this fucking Soul Calibur engine. And I spent an hour of my life just zoned out, listening to
Have
music.
you mentioned that contest we're running right now?
No, I
Check it out.
haven't. Check out the site. There's an article up. You can win some Giant Bomb Premium.
Yeah.
We've already gotten
And some other stuff.
Really
We have-
good
Yeah.
entries.
We have a box full of stuff that I've been meaning
Yeah,
to
we're gonna give
away.
away.
I also
lot
have
of
a
stuff.
poetry contest, a bad poetry contest on the forums if you're interested.
Whoa.
Write a bad
Wait.
poem about it.
Can I submit something I wrote in high school? 'Cause,
Sure.
in
Well,
high
it
school,
has to be about a 2018 game.
Okay. I'll do some light edits here and there. But in high school, every year the senior class had to write 4 poems and post them online.
Why?
Everyone. And
Hated
this was
it.
in 2007. Like before, because if it was now, I just imagine everyone's poems would be just torn apart on Twitter. Like you just find.
vape so hard, it tastes so good. My
And
parents don't
those
know.
sites are still up there,
Oh,
so big ups to you if you are dedicated enough to want to go and find that shit because it's out there.
I love poetry. I love it to death. Like especially, old poetry, 1950, mid-century British poetry is amazing. But I could never. Every time I've ever tried to write anything, it always sounds awful.
I wrote this really cool poem about the war in Iraq and like chess,
Damn,
and
son.
the king is Bush.
A word.
And he
Please find
vapes.
Speaking of rhythm and meter, that new Jackbox with that rap mini game in the new Jackbox is
Everybody in the
pretty
comments
fucking
said
cool.
I should have won. I would have won.
I voted
okay.
for you, Rory,
Yeah.
in that round.
Man, I sound really insufferable. Sorry, but
I mean, you have gone viral.
yeah. Well, I ramp it up for the. I'm usually pretty soft spoken, but you guys bring out the worst out of me.
Speaking of the worst, Tim from Brisbane in Australia, you often talk about the negatives of living in San Francisco. This got me wondering about the opposite. What are your favorite things about living there?
I was gonna say, Brad, you're the only one who lives in San Francisco.
I
but-
live in San
true.
Francisco.
I
I
lived in
do.
San Francisco on and off for at least 10 years.
Yeah, I lived there.
I love it. I love the whole city. I love the whole Bay Area.
It was great until the last 4 or 5 years,
I
honestly.
still think it's great. I still love this living here. I mean, it's expensive. There's a lot of homeless people, but it's one
Can't
of those.
stand the
Where
people.
I like. I've met some amazing people.
I've
made
met
some
some
amazing friends.
incredible people, but
Great bars,
like,
great restaurants.
I would say the food is probably the
Yeah.
concert scene,
Yeah.
music scene. I mean, the only problem with the music scene now is it's tough to start a band here because you are definitely not going to be able to make rent if you're starting a band.
the cost of
Unless you're
living
trained,
increases.
you can still do it.
Yeah.
yeah, my friend learned how to drum from the drummer of Four Non Blondes, and now she's playing
Wow.
shows and
There you
shit.
go.
That's
so
cool.
there we
The
go.
other problem
can
is that
make it.
a lot of the small venues are like the Hemlock Tavern shutting down. A lot of the small places for like
Yeah.
up and coming bands are shutting
Yeah,
down.
that's true.
There are a lot of problems in the Bay Area, but I generally think this is weather-wise. Holy
I like
shit.
the weather. I love the fog. I love the fog so much, and I miss it
Oh,
out in
the
Oakland so
foghorns.
bad.
Brrrr. That's my impression of a foghorn. I used to live over in the inner Richmond and just walking around at like 2, 3 in the morning and having some foggy nights, eating some pizza. You can't really compare it to. I mean, it's a small city in the end.
I have a friend from New York City who described San Francisco as a toy city one time,
Yeah, that's
which
very small.
feels about right.
7 by 7, man.
Yeah, it's like what 800,000 people or something.
Daily it goes up to like 1.3.
Well,
like,
yeah, but
during
I mean,
the
that
midday.
live
But yeah,
within the city limits. Or whatever.
yeah, it has a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues going on, but it's still. I mean, if you can, I don't know. I've had some of definitely the most amazing times of my life in San Francisco.
Lots of natural beauty around, although
Yeah,
the
yeah.
droughts have not been kind.
Nope.
Like everything is fucking brown and dead now.
I don't know. Did you see England over the summer? So we had this insane summer where it was so hot for so long. And England as a country, UK in general, we are just not built for that.
Yeah.
And they had these satellite photos of us before the summer, and it was all beautiful and green.
Yeah.
And then the satellite photo of the entire country brown.
Yeah.
Because everything just died.
That's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe people all there should move to San Francisco.
That's
Hey,
a great
I've
idea.
done-
We
I've done
definitely
it.
need to.
There we go.
It's good.
What's your? How long have you been here?
6 weeks.
What's your favorite thing so far?
Do you live in the city?
Yes, I live in Sunset.
Oh, nice.
No.
Yeah,
So-
I used to live. Anytime you get that whole western part of the city is almost kind of a whole different city in a weird way. People get really snooty about you're having a party in the Richmond. I wish I could make it, but it's like it's a long. But before Uber and Lyft, it was like it's a long bus ride out there.
Because there's
So.
no Muni that goes out there.
Well, not Muni lines, Muni buses.
It's a train.
Yeah.
But man, that 38 bus, man, not. I don't.
We've
I
talked
don't
about
miss
the 38
that.
plenty of
Hey.
times.
Let's not
That
talk
is the
about the
number
38.
one thing I do not miss.
Let's not talk about the 38.
I don't know.
The
There's
38.
I'm intrigued by this.
I love living here in the Bay
It
Area.
is the busiest bus line on the West Coast, is my understanding.
So it's like there's an infamous train in London. I think it's the Brighton to Victoria or Waterloo. Something about like 7:32 every day, and I think it was something. 99% of them were late or delayed or just straight out cancelled. But it's also because it's one of the busiest routes as well.
It's those things are pretty packed compared to BART trains. Like
Yeah.
you're definitely kind of leaning over if you're on the side of the tube. It was it's hot. It's also way fucking far down.
They
It's
started
amazing.
rolling out the new BART trains that
Yeah.
are tall enough for me to
Oh.
stand up in.
Yeah.
Wow.
good.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Right.
don't.
Let's go, baby.
One of the things about Europe and London that was really noticeable to me is like if you're in a wheelchair, you are not going many places because you can get on the tube a little bit, but every pub I went into had every bathroom was like down a flight of stairs, walk down a long hallway, take a right, go upstairs a little bit, and then you'll find 2 bathrooms. It was the most amazing kind of. I love going.
Yeah. London, I mean, I think Europe in general, it just feels like it was thrown together.
Sure, it's built.
Whereas over here, you've got the block system and
all-
everything's very orderly.
You're walking by the oldest pub in Dublin. It's like, founded 1250 or something like that. Like, wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
By my book.
The oldest pub in London as well is really weird because all the ceilings are really low.
Yeah.
And it's
They're all like 4
yeah.
buildings that got thrown together at some point.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
There's a place in York, a street called the Shambles, where the buildings are just so weird that they kind of lean in together. And if you're on the top floors, you can shake hands with the person. But at street level, it's a regular sized street, and then the buildings are just weird and shambles.
Tim Burton made a village.
Yeah, he must have gone there and gone.
Yeah.
The idea of living in a country with more than 200-ish years of history is so, well, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little more than that here, but like
Well, it's
like
the
a
old-
millennium of structures around is
Yeah.
just like so foreign to me.
What's the old thing where Americans don't believe in like things being very old, and Europeans can't believe how big the United States is.
Yeah.
So it's like, for us, like a long trip is like, oh man, I'm gonna be in the car for 12 hours. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I gotta drive 2 hours. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's my impression of.
Or it's like when
Oh, that's
people
okay.
from the East Coast are like, "Oh, I'm going to California. I want to spend my first day in LA, my second day in San Francisco." It's, nuh-uh.
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how far apart LA and San Francisco were. I thought they were maybe an hour drive. And then someone told me, no, that's an hour plane.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're looking at 6 to 8 hours.
Especially when that drive is on the front and back of E3.
Yeah. God.
That's a lot.
Even the plane rides there are always kind of just packed with other. It's kind of cool camaraderie because going to PAX or going to E3, the plane rides are always full of other video game professionals. So
Yeah.
Corey from Memphis. Your talk recently about random oatmeal additives reminded me of a former coworker. Made coffee in my office.
I hate this email so much.
Yeah. I
Finish
made
it.
coffee in my office. I was too far away from the break room to appropriately fuel my addiction, and I offered some to my next door neighbor. She responded that she doesn't drink coffee and only makes black coffee to pour on corn flakes as a hot
What?
cereal.
Fuck.
A hot cereal?
To this day, this astounds me, and I've never heard of anyone else doing it. Is she crazy or am I?
Yeah, something's wrong with that whole situation there.
I think I read this email and repressed it.
Yeah.
Ejected it from your mind.
Upsetting.
It sounds like one of those things that somebody would do as a dare on YouTube to make a funny video for their nephew's website or something.
think it actually sounds all that bad.
This sounds pretty good.
I've
I was
done
so
it.
down. I
try
was
it.
so down on all those oatmeals
hate-
from last week. They were all disgusting
I
to me.
hate oatmeal in
But
general.
this sounds good.
I could almost see it working.
Coffee, man.
I did it with Frosted Flakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Before I read this email.
That legit. Oh wait,
You put
you mean-
black. You put so it's already sugaring up your coffee. You put
Yeah,
coffee
that-
in a cornflakes.
I just drink black coffee, but then I maybe 2-3 years ago I thought like, oh, cereal would be good in this. This was after I tried it with oatmeal.
Yeah.
It's like it can't be worse than trying it with oatmeal.
Oh,
And
man.
it was like drinking sugary, crunchy coffee.
Okay, sure. I mean, it's almost
Crunchy
like
coffee.
dunking a donut in there or something.
Yeah,
Right? It's kind of
yeah.
that same flavor profile. Now, that sounds legit okay.
I'm just
yeah.
Just
shaking
an
my head.
American.
You're not drenching the cereal in coffee.
This is not an American
It's just
thing.
a light pool of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
Okay.
I could see that cornflakes kind of maybe
should get rid of coffee.
working.
entirely.
Okay. Shut up.
No.
Shut the fuck up.
Don't listen.
Coffee is what I like
damn it.
about San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh,
Tons of it.
Mm-hmm.
man.
In the UK, we just have chains. So that's actually one of the big differences is that over here, there are still chains in
Mhm.
San Francisco, but there are way fewer. There are more mom and pop places. Whereas in London, everything is a chain because that's the only people who can afford to be in the city.
I think aren't there like city
now-
ordinances here or something against
Yeah.
too many chains?
Yeah.
Well, it was
Being in
against,
the city
yeah,
limits.
there was
It's
against,
tough to get. Like Target was a big one that moved in, and it's
Yeah.
they do emphasize.
but now chains literally can't afford to be here. Like
Yeah.
Taco Bell shut down, McDonald's shut down.
Well, McDonald's is in a fucking weird place in town too. It's
Yeah.
not the most
It's
best.
the sketchiest McDonald's I've ever been.
The one in the Panhandle.
The one down
Oh.
by Montgomery.
That's one. That's
Next
I'm
to
willing to
Lee's?
bet that might be one of
Oh,
the worst
that's-
McDonald's in America.
The one on Market Street.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
that
that's not even close to me.
See, we got the best Taco Bell and the worst McDonald's. It's a real.
no the
uh,
There
McDonald's.
was another
spectrum here.
McDonald's down
On
on
Haight.
Haight.
Oh, that was
by Golden
by
Gate Park,
far the worst.
where it
Oh,
was
yes,
like the
yes,
most
that McDonald's
the
is-
most drug deals in the city happened there.
That's I
They-
used to live a
McDonald's.
block and a half from that McDonald's, and I definitely saw
Yeah.
some
Just
shit.
open. Like a friend of mine one time got off of the bus at on Haight and walked like $3 to meet me at a bar. He said he was counting up all the synonyms for weed. It was like weed,
yeah.
bud, kind, smoke, incense. Just he had like 8 different words that people were yelling at him to
Yeah,
get him to buy
my
weed.
my old roommate bought a bag of oregano on Haight one time.
Hey.
I'm not fucking surprised.
Uh,
Haight is everybody thinks Haight Ashbury. You go up and see the sights, and then it's like, oh, it's some kind of touristy, kitschy shops, and then street punks with very aggressive bid
kids.
pulls.
Yeah.
It's not the
on ropes.
on ropes. Yeah,
That's what
God.
Dolores Park has turned into. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
you're just chilling with friends and then
They-
like 12 people offering you different types of weed
well, they also
or massages.
Now we're getting back to why San Francisco
park
has problems.
massages?
and-
Yeah.
what?
yeah.
Just an old dude like walking around with a massage chair. It's like, hey, you guys want some?
Okay.
Want to rub down?
Hey, man.
Len? No.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, San Francisco is something for everybody.
Yeah,
something for everybody.
totally.
It's
That
a
is for
embarrassment
sure.
of riches.
Indeed. I lost the email I was going to read. Here it is. We got a number of requests after I dug up GameSpot's old spreadsheet last week to score some more games. I'm going to take one of them. Jack from Florida, could you score near Automata with the old GameSpot review system? I feel like that game was divisive among the staff, and I'm curious what the score would be. As a reminder, it was number 3 on Giant Bomb's 2017 Game of the
It
Year.
was number 1.
Okay. Lucy, do you have any acquaintance at all with this old system?
So I listened to, well, I've never personally used it, but I listened to the Bombcast last
Okay,
week,
so yeah,
I'm-
the spreadsheet is very unassuming. It's just punch some numbers into
That looks
some
so
fields.
innocent.
Yeah.
Man,
All right. How are we going to have to arrive at a consensus on all these
No,
numbers?
we'll never
No.
do that.
How do we do that?
I got it.
who originally? I'm
Well,
sorry.
Or we can go around.
Is this
Who else
was
played
this-
it?
Was it
I played it.
Kasavan thing
Jan, you played
originally?
it.
You mean who made the spreadsheet?
Yeah,
Oh,
the-
I don't know.
Pre-Kasavan?
I think so. Oh, yeah, I think so.
Because I remember we had a big meeting about rechanging everything like halfway through my tenure at
think
GameSpot.
This is I mean,
That Kasavan really redid the whole thing.
the modified date on this spreadsheet was 2002, so it's definitely
Oh,
older
wow.
than that.
Man.
So
Going back a
I
ways.
think this might be the original thing. Or
I
pretty
never
close
reviewed
to
a
it.
game for GameSpot.
Really?
Never reviewed a game.
You
for
may
Game-
have written the most words
I
on
definitely
GameSpot of
fucking did.
anybody who ever worked here.
I counted it up. It was at least like 3 or 4 million. So
Jesus, that's insane, man.
Yeah. So I don't ever read. I'm not. I would read the reviews. I remember it being a really screwy kind of reviewers tilt.
Oh yeah.
And assigning numbers to everything. I'm going to repeat
All
the
right.
conversation I had last week for my own benefit.
Let's have a discussion here.
Okay. I never played Nier Automata or reviewed a game on GameSpot, so I'm going to be the least useful person here.
I contend that game has some really interesting
Like
character
always.
designs and that the environments look terrible.
I didn't
So wait, what's the
finish
first stat?
Graphics.
Graphics?
I'm gonna say like a graphics 7 is kind.
Okay, yeah, sure.
7's generous.
I was gonna say six.
I was gonna say 6 to a 7.
Yeah, I'll go for 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Seven's a new
It's
5, I
very
guess.
muddy.
Yeah, some of those texts. Like, I think that is the weakest part of that game, in my opinion.
I love the machine character design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Some of the
the
boss
androids.
design.
Like most of the character work is really good in that game. But man, those environments are rough. Sound.
It's pretty good. The
I would-
sounds of your pod and stuff.
Yeah.
like-
I mean, on the strength of the soundtrack alone, I would go like a 9 sound.
oh yeah, that
Oh,
includes
soundtrack.
music too.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
That sounds good to me.
The only thing stopping me from giving it a 10 is how hard it was to give 10s back then. Gameplay is kind of a tough one.
Very mashy.
Yeah,
Like
it is-
I didn't even finish it.
Yeah,
so-
you're right. It is super mashy. It's just
Yeah.
it's like it's combat's fine, but it's not.
It
that
has
interesting.
depth if you want to put
Yeah,
the
it-
time
Mhm.
into
It
it,
never-
but it doesn't
Oh,
encourage
'cause
you
it had
to.
that thing where you were putting things into that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
thing
like
where you
the
put
chip-
the things into the,
the
thing.
chips.
The chip
Yeah.
stuff's cool. Like different weapon combos would give you different attack stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it never makes you do any of that stuff.
Totally. I'd say 7.
Yeah, all the hacking stuff is really cool.
Oh,
though.
fuck, yeah. That is really cool. Especially that last one.
Would having to replay a game go into gameplay
Yeah.
or?
Well, no, that's a
could.
replayability.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
that's a 10.
Yeah, it could.
You have to.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like unconventional structure for sure is
Sure.
is a gameplay thing.
Mm.
I could see a 7 for this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Value. It's tempting to say, hey, you play through it 5 times, but it's not really accurate.
But that
I
makes you
played it
question
for
who you
40
are.
hours, and I feel like 25 of those were really rewarding.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Mm.
I
Because, like, I think the weakest part of that game is the first half of the second route where you're playing through as
Yes.
9S, and you're
Yes.
Mhm.
kind of up to a point, you're just redoing
Yes.
a lot of stuff
Yes.
from that first one.
Although I feel like they do intelligently realize at a point through that playthrough that, like, you know what, let's not make them play through everything.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
skip over a lot of the. Also, the beginning of that playthrough is really strong.
Yeah. That first mission where you're, oh yeah, it's so good.
Like back in the day, the standard was just like, does this feel like you're getting your money's worth?
Mhm.
And in that sense, I would say absolutely.
I would say so.
Yeah, I would easily give it a 7.
That
or
game's
an
still
8.
$60
thinking
on
eight.
Steam.
Is it really?
It is.
Really?
I looked it up. I was thinking about picking it up.
When quoted, if Yoko Taro was interested in putting 9B into Soul Calibur, he said, "We'll do anything for money." So that tracks.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Like in the old GameSpot mindset, like the thing that would really push up value is like just infinite replayability. Like, can you do this over and over and keep having fun with it?
Hey,
Like,
there's 26 endings.
that's true. That's true.
One for every letter of the alphabet.
I feel like at least a value 7.
Sure.
If not,
I would lean
eight.
to
I'd say
8.
an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm convinced.
This is how all the GameSpot conversations went. It was super easy. 10 minutes, got a score. Game of the year, too.
And then you were with the review after, right? It was
Yeah.
like you did the score thing, bang that out, put a couple words behind it.
I'm going to say the tilt is going to be at least a 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a lot of passion around that
That's
game.
real tilty.
Oh man. Okay, with a tilt 9, that brings this game to a 7.8. exactly as good as Marvel Spider-Man. So you're saying it's just as good as Spider-Man?
I'm saying they're the exact same video game.
Oh man.
Man. Yeah.
With a tilt 10, that brings it to an 8.1.
That's I'm more
feel like
comfortable
I feel
with
better about that. I'm gonna give it a tilt 10.
That is one of the games I feel like that would really need reviewers tilt to be a
Yes,
thing. Like that
absolutely.
game has
Absolutely.
That's
is
why they
one
put
of
it
the
in
thing
there.
that's beyond its
That
the sum of its parts.
game is flawed, but yes, way more than the sum of its parts for sure.
Do you remember any controversial review tilts back in the day? Because I
Like
remember
tilts?
I remember a lot of people would, you'd have a frame of score in mind kind of thing.
Jeff talked about that because the audience always misinterpreted what the tilt was.
Yeah.
Like people thought that was some meaningful score on its own when it was absolutely nothing of the sort.
All pinball games have a weird tilt score.
Controversial tilt, no, not so much. Like controversial review scores, yes.
Yeah. I remember some of those.
Absolutely. There you go. 8.1.
There you go.
Heard it here.
Right, let's go back and you could probably put that in the CMS, right?
Yep.
Right now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Actually, wow.
Backdate it to 2004.
Am I playing with fire to see what it actually got?
No, I think that's good to see.
We should.
I hope it's an 8.2.
Well, you guys are on 0.5 increments, right?
No.
No?
No. Got rid of those.
Oh, that's right. It's just whole numbers. Yeah,
Full number.
9.
I think
Whole
I got a
numbers.
Yeah.
it got a 9. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Round it up.
Okay. So that might be our last. 2 more emails.
Okay.
Stefan from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Like the second Stefan.
Yeah,
One of these is going to be calling.
This
It's Steven.
this one is literally spelled Stephen. It's
Okay.
Stephen, but he specified that it's pronounced like Stefan.
Hmm.
I went to a garage sale and bought an original PlayStation with a pre-DualShock controller. I never knew this existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the listeners who don't
That's-
know, it is a regular PlayStation controller minus the sticks, just D-pad, face, and shoulder buttons.
Yep.
Without sticks, the controller would essentially only be used on 2D games. We will get to that.
Yeah.
My question is this. Were 2D offerings the only games Sony had at launch?
Nope.
I'm not a hardware expert, but Sony had to include components in the console for 3D gaming, or otherwise there wouldn't be any of the 3D games we know, and the DualShock would not have worked. Why would they have launched or debuted with this controller that didn't take advantage of 3D?
Kids.
Was the controller...
Sorry.
Yes. Was this controller in a budget bundle? Was it the launch controller?
It was a launch controller.
Please tell me what you know about this piece of PlayStation history.
It
I basically read this email to make myself and probably
Yeah.
Rory feel old.
It had a D-pad. That's all you
Okay.
had. There are 3D games that launched. Battle Arena Shinden.
tons
Warhawk
of
was there
most,
too.
Most of the games at launch were 3D.
Yeah,
games.
Warhawk was a 3D flying game. You just use the D-pad to aim your ship, and then you press the button to go forward. It's not super complicated.
Oh, yeah.
It was not ideal. The DualShock was a much improved thing for 3D
Analog
games.
control is a nice thing to have, but I mean that thing came out before the N64.
Yeah,
Like there kind of was no analog control.
Very clicky. Like for Warhawk, you had to do a lot of pretty tight flying between things, turning your ship to the side and going through tunnels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You had to be really precise with your aim because it was digital. It was like they weren't analog, D-pads. It was, you kind of click up in very specific ways. So
Yeah.
the question is,
I'm just assuming this person is on the younger side.
yeah,
Which-
sure. And I
which
don't
is
mean
kind
to
of
be,
why I read the
be
email. I think
condescending or
it's
anything.
kind of amazing. No, I think it's kind of adorable that we're getting
Yeah.
to the point where that controller is like a forgotten piece of history.
First analog controller, I think, was Nights into Dreams for Saturn. and then
Did that
N64.
come out before the N64?
I believe it was around the same time.
I feel like I remember going to Toys R Us to play the Knights demo and the N64 Super Mario 64 demo on different kiosks
And
at the same
oddly
time.
enough, Nights was a 2D game, right? It was all
Yeah,
flat. I don't know if
like
it
a
was 3D
weird-
modeled or anything.
Weird mishmash. Yeah, it was absolutely 3D.
Yes,
graphics.
we did play 3D games without the DualShock back in
Was possible.
my day.
I was the younger sibling, so that was my controller.
Oh
Okay.
God, that
Wow,
Yeah.
man, there was a real pecking order in that
Yeah,
house.
my-
huh?
my sister.
That's unfortunate.
DualShock.
That's man.
we never looked back.
That's
I mean,
rough.
trying to go back to like a PSP with one analog stick was very
Yeah.
difficult for a lot of those games. So thank goodness you didn't know the struggle if you never played a game. You might, because I think the PS Mini thing.
Yeah,
is coming
I
out.
think that's maybe part of the impetus of behind the question. Is that
Oh.
the classic does not have DualShock.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Whew, man.
Yep. Okay,
Like
last
losing a
email.
limb.
yes, you had to walk.
Yeah.
10 miles in
Up,
the snow
uphill.
to use an analog controller. Last email is from Matthew.
Again.
Why does Barack Obama follow Jan? Is there a story behind this?
Well, real respect real. So
That's
that's why.
a pretty good point.
There.
Good luck. Good luck on your election next week. By the way,
Yes, my mayoral campaign.
campaign seems to be going well.
Yeah.
Did you ever tweet at him and have him follow you back? Because there used to be a function in Twitter
Yeah,
where
you go at Barack Obama, hashtag team follow back, hashtag follow Friday.
Hashtag PC for PC.
Yeah.
there definitely used to be a Twitter functionality where every time you would get added, you would automatically follow back the person
Yeah.
who did. And some celebrities would turn it on And I've seen people who follow like 200,000 people, which must be a fucking useless use of the platform.
This
so.
is the third time.
I'm sure Barack Obama specifically.
Yeah,
Well, Barack Obama's never gone viral like you, so I think you're the one to speak on this.
You're next in line.
He doesn't watch Jeopardy like I do. That's for sure.
I'm sure that's true. All right. Well, good to have that question answered.
I just want Little B to follow me, though.
Yeah.
Keep
I want
working.
the base god to follow me.
I can give you some tips on how to get Little B to follow you.
Okay.
What you got?
Be an attractive female and write "I heart Little B" on your feet.
Damn it.
Okay.
Can't do that.
How about draw an anime character that is saying "I heart Little B"?
I'm doing that after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now we know what's going to happen shortly after the show. That's it for emails. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. Lucy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How much longer before you finish Red Dead, do you think?
Well, I'm going home. It's 2 p.m. now. I'm going to go home and play for maybe, until 1 a.m. again.
Okay.
That's why my eye, if you've seen me do this, I'm really paranoid about it, but my eye started twitching.
I haven't seen a single thing until you mentioned it.
I think this
And then
podcast-
Okay, now you've mentioned it.
Now I still
They're
don't.
going to go back
So
and find every moment of it now.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll lie awake at 4 a.m. and think about it. It's fine.
Podcast tends to trigger involuntary muscle spasms, so that's par for the course.
I think I can have it done by Thursday. If tomorrow all I do is play. I have like one meeting tomorrow and then I'm just going to
We are
play
definitely
through meetings too. Trust me.
we're definitely in that time of year. Games got to get finished.
Yeah, man, November. Holy shit! Looking back at just thinking about GameSpot, I think it feels like nowadays for me, especially what I do here, is not quite as busy as was back in the day. But there were definitely some years especially around console launches, where November was like 80 hours.
Oh yeah,
4 weeks straight.
Oh yeah,
relationship ending type of like workloads.
I know. I think we've talked about it before. Like especially with a new hardware launch, and we'd get like 3 units in, and we would have like I think it was like in the 360 came out, they were on 24 hours a day because people would take like 8-hour shifts. It's like, all right, I'm gonna play during the day to review my game. You're gonna take it home tonight and play overnight.
Yeah.
I think Twilight Princess was the big one for me because Jeff had it as a review and I got it to write the game guide, and it was like I had like 3 days to write the entire thing, and I did. I still think that story is probably the highest trafficked thing in GameSpot history. It was like 18 million hits when I left in 2008, and it kept on going up. But that was that November, I think. Was that 08?
06.
06?
Yeah.
Definitely think I broke up with a girlfriend because I just didn't see her for a month. She's like, sorry, I need somebody around for the holidays.
Did you ever not work a weekend? Because every single time I came in the office on a weekend, you were in there like barefoot playing some game and writing a guide.
It was capture was really tough for some of those games, and I definitely stopped here more than once a lot of times because I put pressure on myself to get stuff done.
I used to when I was reviewing some garbage PS2 knockoff or whatever, I was like, man, he gets to play all the fun games. Of course, we're only going to do guides for the best games. He's so lucky.
That was me pausing it every 30 seconds to write another paragraph.
Looking back, it's like, no.
Yeah, and then there were some real winners in there. But November was always the busiest time because we could license out or freelance out some of it. But anyways, I'll write a blog post about my days at days at GameSpot.
All right. Syllables are collapsing now. It's time to end this podcast. Thanks everybody for listening. After show?
Yeah. I've been drafted.
Nice.
You're gonna get some really good advice.
The rare Matt. God, I can't even talk.
Matt,
We're gonna take some unfiltered calls. I'm just gonna let him through the pipeline.
The rare Matt Rory.
Everybody knows I'm so withdrawn and like I filter all my stuff. So I'll try to let loose a little bit
very
here.
reserved person to be on the after show. All right, if you're watching live, stay tuned for that. We'll be back with Extra Life stuff pretty much all week after this.
I will put up that story today about the Extra Life schedule. It's going to be it's a marathon, not a sprint, but it's a marathon individual. It's like 6 individual marathons.
Yes.
So
it's like a triathlon. It's like
ultra marathon. Ultra marathon.
Isn't it a better metaphor if it's you're literally passing it off to other people?
Is that a triathlon?
It's a relay race.
Relay
race.
Is that good? Yeah.
Decathlon.
We gotta go.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.